Flyboys and Johnson City getting ready for first pitch here from TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City, Tennessee. Nick Rodecap with you here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Greenville looking to stay hot. The Flyboys have won 8 of their last 10 games, and as you'd expect, the lineup is pretty much the same as it's been in recent days. Reed Hare, the Flyboys center fielder, will lead things off. He'll be followed by Tyler Inge, the second baseman. Ezra McNaughton, the designated hitter, bats third. Dylan Jackson, the first baseman, bats cleanup tonight for Greenville. Jace Patton is at third base, batting fifth. Brady Francisco is the catcher, batting sixth. TJ Adams in right field, batting seventh. Grant Hunter, the left fielder, bats eighth. And Peyton Miller, the shortstop, bats ninth for Greenville. The Flyboys will face a very good starting pitcher for Johnson City. It's Bryson Thacker. Thacker, of course, spent some time at the University of Tennessee. He is now committed to West Virginia. He'll join the Mountaineers coming up this fall in preparation for the 2026 season. And the Johnson City Doughboys will counter with this lineup. Logan Fife, the shortstop, leads off. Dane Morrow, the second baseman, bats second. Nate Connor, the right fielder, bats third. Paris Pridgeon, the center fielder, bats cleanup. Brandon Chang, the catcher, bats fifth. Trey Majette, the switch-hitting first baseman, bats sixth. Leighton Daly, the third baseman, bats seventh. Ryan Jones, the designated hitter, bats eighth, and batting ninth for the Johnson City Doughboys in this game, the left fielder, Logan Dunn. Bryson Thacker saw very limited playing time at Tennessee this past season, appearing in just 5 games. He's already matched that total here in Johnson City. This will be his 5th start of the season, 6th appearance overall. He has not allowed a run yet in 13 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 6 walks, and 16 strikeouts for Bryson Thacker. 2 lefties on the mound today in this one. Thacker's opposite number will be Freddie Baravitas for the Flyboys. Baravitas, a lefty, committed to the University of Pittsburgh. In his last start, he pitched 5 strong innings. He's thrown 7 in total, allowing 2 runs on 8 hits, 4 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Reed Hare stepping to the plate, which means we're just about set for first pitch here between the Flyboys and the Johnson City Doughboys. We are happy to have you with us here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. It's a very brisk, cool evening here in Johnson City. We mentioned the rain in the area. It's really cooled off the temperature. It was in the mid-80s earlier today, but now hovering in the mid-70s. Game time temperature of 76. Hare stepping into the left-handed batter's box. Bryson Thacker with his orange and white spikes is on the mound. The wind and the first pitch of the game. A fastball that misses low and outside. We are underway at 7:31 local time. Flyboys and the Doughboys meeting here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark for the 3rd time in the last week. 1-0 to Reed Hare, misses outside. Greenville has won each of the first 2 meetings. We had a wild one here back on June 27th. That was late last week. That game took nearly 5 hours to complete. Greenville scored 11 runs in the final 2 innings, to win 16-12. 2-0 to Hare is a breaking ball in there for a strike. And the night before that, it was much more convincing. The Flyboys scoring a season-high 19 runs, winning 19-1. Greenville scored at least 2 runs in all 7 innings of that run rule affair. 2-1 to Reed Hare. Breaking ball smashed to right center field. Nate Connor coming in a little bit. Hare just missed that one. And Connor makes the catch for the first out of the game. That's one thing we've seen here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. At least if the Flyboys games here are any indication, the ball flies out of this place. Greenville with multiple homers in each of its 2 games so far here against Johnson City. Ezra McNaughton hit a couple. Micah Jordan hit a couple. Cameron Kim had one as well. Digging in now, the Flyboys second baseman Tyler Inge, right-handed batter, an open stance. First pitch from Thacker. A fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. And the Johnson City defense shading Inge, the right-handed hitter, to his pull side. Inge entering this game with an on-base percentage right at 400. The 0-1 right there for strike 2. Inge with 12 RBIs. He's stolen 9 bases on 11 attempts this season. He's more aggressive in the early going. Hasn't run a ton lately. mostly because of the amount of extra base hits the Flyboys have been able to muster up. 0-2 on Inge here. Thacker, the wind and the pitch. Well outside and high. Thacker missing with the fastball there. Thacker, a lanky left-handed pitcher, standing at 6'2", 170 pounds. He's a Georgia native. 1-2 on Inge with the leadoff man gone here in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Inge takes strike 3. Thacker got an off-speed pitch on the outer part of the zone that looked like it was off the plate away, but Inge punches out. 2 away here in the top of the first, and the batter now, Ezra McNaughton. McNaughton selected among a very elite group of Appy League players that will take on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team on the 4th of July at Atrium Health Ballpark. McNaughton will be joined by Flyboys catcher Brady Francisco, representing Greenville, as the Appy League takes on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team. McNaughton takes low and outside. The lone Johnson City Doughboys representative on that team is Major Osbolt, a starting pitcher. We saw Osbolt when the Flyboys came here last week. Greenville tagged him for a few runs. It was his worst start so far this season. Here's the pitch. McNaughton takes a high inside strike. Osbolt gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, walked 4 and struck out 4 against Greenville. Micah Jordan got him for a homer in the 3rd inning of that game. Here's the 1-1. McNaughton checks his swing. Breaking ball misses inside, maybe a little bit high as well. And the count now 2-1. We were talking about the rain earlier on. Now, hopefully this isn't a jinx, but it has subsided for the time being. Still overcast skies, though. Here's the 2-1 to McNaughton. Breaking ball misses in the dirt from Thacker, and the count 3-1. 0-0 here in the top of the first. 2 down, base is empty for McNaughton. Brandon Chang is the catcher for Johnson City. Leighton Daly at third base. Logan Fife is at short. Dane Morrow, the second baseman, and Trey Majette over at first. And now the 3-1. McNaughton hits one off the end of the bat to left. Charging is Logan Dunn, and that ball drops on the warning track in foul territory. So now the count 3-2. Dunn is in left, Paris Pridgeon is in center, and Nate Connor is in right. Kannapolis, North Carolina will be the site of that showdown between the Appy League Select Team and the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team, comprising some of the star collegiate players across the college baseball ranks. 3-2 on McNaughton. Breaking ball punched foul the other way. McNaughton got jammed on that one. Would have been ball 4. It was well above the zone and inside, but he fought it off. The Flyboys will also be represented at Atrium Health Ballpark by Freddie Baravitas, the lefty, who we will see on the mound in the bottom of this inning. 3-2 on Ezra McNaughton. Here's the pitch. He takes low and in for ball 4. And McNaughton has quietly become one of the Flyboys' best base stealers. He's second on the team after Sunday at Pulaski, 11 for 12 stealing bases. We'll see if he gets started here. With 2 away, the batter Dylan Jackson, the Flyboys' first baseman, batting cleanup here tonight. Infield once again shading the right-handed hitter to his pull side. Thacker out of the stretch for the first time. And the lefty throws over to first. McNaughton dives back in safely. There's a slight breeze blowing across the outfield left to right here in Johnson City, as Thacker now toes the rubber once again. With the lefty on the mound, it might be tough for McNaughton to run here. First pitch to Dylan Jackson. A breaking ball right there for strike 1. So 0-1 the count on Dylan Jackson. McNaughton at first, 2 away. The pitch. Jackson takes high. Fastball missing the mark right there. And the skies were very dark overhead, especially beyond right field when the Flyboys arrived. But it's cleared up a little bit, so hopefully we're trending in the right direction. 1-1. Jackson takes a breaking ball at the knees for strike 2. A slow curve there from Bryson Thacker. Thacker looking to strand the 2-out base runner at first. Jackson chokes up on the bat. And the 1-2. Jackson checks his swing. He went around. That's strike 3. Didn't look like Jackson went from up here. But the home plate umpire had other ideas. The Flyboys strand a 2-out walk at first base after a half. Greenville nothing. Johnson City coming to bat here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Freddie Baravitas gets the ball for the Flyboys. We're scoreless here in the bottom of inning number 1. Nick Rotacap with you on the Flyboys Baseball Network. We're here in Johnson City, Tennessee, as the Flyboys will play their first 3 games this week against the Doughboys before returning to Pioneer Park for a 4th of July weekend series against the Bluefield Ridge Runners. Logan Fife leading things off for the Doughboys. First pitch from Baravitas, a breaking ball in the dirt, swung on and missed for strike 1. Fife has been the Flyboys' Achilles heel so far this season. The pitch. Fife fouls off that breaking ball, and the count is quickly 0-2. When these teams met late last week, Fife finished the game a triple shy of the cycle, 5 for 6 with 4 runs scored. He was unbelievable at the plate. Flyboys, I'm sure, hoping it's a little bit tougher sledding for him this time around as he takes an 0-2 fastball that misses outside. Fife will be followed by Dane Morrow, the second baseman, and Nate Connor, the right fielder. Here's the 1-2 from Baravitas. Fife hits a breaking ball into center field. That ball is well struck. Hare going back, though, is camped under it and makes the catch on the warning track in deep center field for the first out here in the bottom of inning number 1. Johnson City's bat dog, Rocky, is back once again, receiving, as always, a very deserved ovation. Now the batter, Dane Morrow. Baravitas, in his last start against Pulaski, struck out 8 over 5 innings. Here's the pitch to Morrow. He squares to bunt, pulls back, and watches ball 1. Baravitas, it seemed like every single batter he faced in that game, he delivered a first pitch strike. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he was very efficient in attacking the zone. 1-0. Morrow takes low. Morrow, the native of Louisville, Kentucky, not too far from my hometown of Indianapolis. A 2-0. Morrow takes up and in. Brushed off the plate by a fastball there was the lefty hitter. Louisville is an interesting city. It's got some fun places to visit. 3-0. Morrow takes a strike. One that I particularly enjoyed was the Louisville Mega Caverns, which are exactly what they sound like. Giant underground caves. And the 3-1 to Morrow. Up and in for ball 4. Baravitas issues a 1-out walk. 0-0 game just underway in the bottom of the first. And the batter now, the right fielder, Nate Connor. Another left-handed batter. One of 3 in this Johnson City order that the lefty Freddie Baravitas will have to contend with. The Louisville Mega Caverns in Dane Morrow's hometown of the same name. Basically, you have the option, this is what my friends and I did over spring break. You have the option of going on a guided zip line tour. Runner off first, the pitch. A breaking ball for a strike to Nate Connor, the Johnson City native, playing for his hometown summer ball team. And the kicker is, of course, since you're in caverns, you're underground, it's very dark. The 0-1, Connor hits one on the ground to first, but foul past the first baseman, Dylan Jackson. And as someone who is afraid of heights, well, I was afraid of heights once upon a time, that fear crept up on me again when we were in the Mega Caverns, because there are some footbridges and rather narrow rock faces where the staff have built up bridges and apparatuses that you can walk on. Some of them aren't even bridges. They feel like tight ropes because of how narrow they are. And they tell you late in the tour, if you choose to go on the zip line tour at the Louisville Mega Caverns, they tell you that this is the point of no return. 0-2 to Connor, misses outside. Morrow with a big secondary lead at first. Francisco, the catcher, looked like he thought about throwing behind him. They tell you that if you're going to be afraid of heights, if you're going to wuss out, now is the time to do it, because once you get past a certain zip line in the latter half, you cannot go back. Here's the 1-2. Connor takes outside. Baravitas missing with the fastball. 2-2 on Nate Connor. Morrow, the 1-out walk, aboard at first. Baravitas quickly sets on the third base side of the rubber. And the pitch. Runner goes, breaking ball, foul back. Morrow, I think, going on first move there. He's been good stealing bases for Johnson City. Second on the team, a perfect 7 for 7 stealing bags. And I remember seriously thinking to myself, man, this is already pretty scary. We're going to keep going higher up. As Benavides sets another 2-2. Connor lines this one towards center field. Reed Hare started in, now ranges toward the gap and makes the catch. Second out of the inning here in the bottom of the first. And the batter, Paris Pridgeon, the center fielder, batting cleanup. But if I was going to be the only one of my friends to back out, then that would have certainly bruised my ego. So I decided, you know what? Once I get through this, I'll have a great story to tell someday. It was scary, I'm not going to lie, especially the footbridge up to the final zip line. Basically a straight vertical climb. First pitch to Pridgeon gets away and to the backstop. That allows Dane Morrow to move up to second with 2 gone on the wild pitch. He'll be charged to Benavides. So Johnson City with a man in scoring position now. Runner at second, 2 down, scoreless in the bottom of the first. There's basically a footbridge going straight up. They tether your zip line, your harness, I should say, to a zip line above the bridge itself. So you're secured. You're not in any real danger of falling. Here's the 1-0. Pridgeon takes a breaking ball that misses high and outside. But you feel the bridge wobbling. You see nothing but darkness underneath you in the Louisville Mega Caverns. They've got programmed light shows that are synchronized to music, but the bridges don't really have anything. Pridgeon takes a 2-0 strike. Benavides delivering a fastball there at 90 miles per hour on the outside corner. The bridges don't have anything. Basically, I learned the hard way not to look down in those kinds of situations because it makes you feel very uneasy. 2-1. Pridgeon takes inside, ball 3. And I think the scariest part of it was honestly anytime I looked down, you can start to feel your feet shaking a little bit just because you think, oh man, you know, what if the harness breaks? What if I fall? I didn't fall. Nobody did. We had fun. Here's the 3-1. Pridgeon lines one to short. Inge makes a leaping catch. That's actually Peyton Miller. Inge moved over to second. This is one of Peyton Miller's first games at shortstop, and he took away a base hit there from Paris Pridgeon. 2 lineouts in the inning. That one snared at short by Peyton Miller as Johnson City strands a man at second. After an inning, scoreless between Greenville and the Doughboys here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Welcome back to TVA Credit Union Ballpark here in Johnson City, Tennessee. The Flyboys visiting the Doughboys. We are scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second. It'll be Jace Patton, Brady Francisco, and TJ Adams due up facing the Johnson City lefty Bryson Thacker. 5, 6, 7 in the Greenville order. Each team stranding a walk in the first. Patton back at third base, where he spent a lot of games early in the season. Played all around the infield. We've even seen him on the mound a couple times this year. Thacker, the southpaw, facing 3 righties. Thacker, the wind, and the pitch to Patton. Breaking ball fouled off down the third base line. Thacker spending 2 seasons at Tennessee playing for the Volunteers. Made his first career appearance against East Tennessee State. The school, of course, which is based, as Patton takes inside, the count 1-1. The school which is based right here in Johnson City. A lot of ETSU guys and Johnson City natives, not just in the Appy League, but on the Doughboys roster. The Flyboys have a couple as well. 1-1 the count on Patton. Here's the pitch from Thacker. Patton takes high and inside. Fastball missing there. But Thacker didn't get a ton of playing time at Tennessee. But when you're on a team as deep as the Volunteers. 2-1. Patton takes a fastball for a strike. He'll step out, collect himself before the 2-2. When you're on a team as deep as Tennessee, it's very difficult to break through, especially in a pitching staff that had so many well-established arms over the past couple years. 2-2 on Patton. Thacker the wide and the pitch. Patton lines one toward left center field. That ball is down, and the Flyboys have their first hit of the game. It's a leadoff single for Jace Patton here to begin the second. The batter now, Brady Francisco. Good job by Patton of getting the barrel to that elevated fastball on the inside part of the plate. Thacker, the left-hander, comfortably into the 90s with his fastball. That one at 91, but Patton turned it around. Here's Brady Francisco. Mentioned he was named to the Appy League select team that will take on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team on the 4th of July. The pitch. Francisco takes a breaking ball on the high outside corner for a strike. If Thacker is going to keep leaving that breaking ball up, wouldn't be surprised if the Flyboys try to turn it around and hit it out of here. They've hit plenty of home runs through just 2 games here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. Throw over to first. Back in standing is Jace Patton. Thacker on that pickoff move, the lefty, looked like his front leg was very close to being too far towards home plate. With the lefty, you can usually tell they subtly transfer their weight towards the first base bag. Patton was wise to it there. The 0-1. Francisco takes a breaking ball outside. But you look at Tennessee's pitching staff, especially this year, of course, headlined by Liam Doyle, the charismatic hurler. He ruffled a lot of feathers. Another throw over to first. Again, Patton is safe. Doyle is one of those guys, and a lot of teams have them, where if they're not on your team, chances are you're not a fan. Doyle did a lot of talking last season. The pitch. Francisco takes a fastball for a strike. Seems like that outside strike is being called quite a bit here tonight. That one from Thacker was near the outside chalk, but called a strike. So the Flyboys maybe will have to crowd the plate, try to hit that ball the other way. If it's going to be called, you've got to protect it. Patton off first, and the 1-2. Francisco takes a breaking ball that misses upstairs. Thacker missing high with a lot of curveballs here early. That tells you maybe he hasn't found the release point yet. Tennessee's national championship winning team had guys like Nate Snead coming out of the bullpen on a regular basis. Starting pitchers like Xander Sechrist. I remember Drew Beam. Saw him pitch in person. He was fantastic. Here's the 2-2. Francisco waits on the breaking ball, fouls it straight back. Kirby Connell, I believe he had a fantastic mustache, and that he did. He's a Johnson City native. But Connell's mustache was killer. I think that alone probably won Tennessee a couple of games. 2-2 on Francisco as Thacker fires. Francisco hits the breaking ball in the air to center field. Pridgeon started in, now going back and makes the running overhead catch on the warning track just under the 400-foot sign. Pridgeon got a good read on that one. You could tell, even though that ball was well struck by Francisco, he just missed it, and Pridgeon read it all the way. Now TJ Adams digging in. Adams facing Thacker. These are two guys who play or have experience with programs well-versed in the College World Series. Another pickoff move to first. Patton is safe. Patton has only stolen 1 base this season. The Flyboys entering tonight, one of the league's best base-stealing teams. Another throw over. Patton is safe again. Greenville, after swiping a whole bunch of bags at Pulaski, the Flyboys stole 6 bases in 7 innings against the River Turtles. They now have more stolen bases than any team in the Appy League. The pitch. Adams takes outside. 1-0 the count on the Flyboys' right-handed batter. Greenville stealing 54 bases on 60 attempts. That is both the best by volume and success rate. I think the success rate is the most impressive thing. Adams late on an off-speed pitch there. And the count 1-1. The two teams directly under Greenville when it comes to stolen bases. Burlington, 53 for 70, 1-1. Adams fouls it away over the first base dugout. And Elizabethton, 42 for 56. So the Flyboys' volume and success, both fantastic. They also do a great job at limiting opposing teams from running on them. 1-2 the count on TJ Adams. Patton the leadoff single, leading off first with one away. The pitch. Adams takes strike 3. Thacker got him on the off-speed pitch there. Third strikeout for him through an inning and 2/3. And the batter now, Grant Hunter, the Flyboys left fielder. Scoreless here in the top of the second. Flyboys and Johnson City will see each other for each of the next 2 nights. We'll be in Greenville tomorrow, and then back here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark on Thursday. Hunter digging in from the right side. Pickoff move to first. Patton safe again. It seems like Thacker's front leg is really close to that 45-degree limit that lefties get when throwing over to first. Wonder if maybe the umpires will catch him out on one of these pickoff moves. A deep breath from Thacker, and the pitch to Hunter. Up and away. Thacker missing with the fastball there. That one at 88, so a tick lower on the velocity. The live stats, at least from my end, are not working, so I can't tell how many pitches Thacker has thrown. By my estimation, I'm going to say 35 or 40. The pitch. Hunter takes a low strike. I had 35 on the nose before that one. As the lefty sets the pitch. Hunter takes inside. Grant Hunter, I'm sure, not wanting to be hit by a pitch again. He got hit by one in the 5th inning of Sunday's game. That was a game in which he reached base all 4 times without recording an at-bat. 3 walks in the HBP. 2-1. Hunter swings and misses. That one at the top of the zone from Thacker. And he's a pitch away from stranding the leadoff single at first base. Jace Patton still over there. Thacker looking for the put away. He's got 3 strikeouts already. We'll see if Patton runs here on 2-2. He does not. And the pitch misses high. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Now Patton will go. Hunter at the bottom of this Flyboys order. He's been good at reaching base. The batting average under 280, not going to knock your socks off. But the on-base percentage, 467, and this is a big reason why. He's a very patient hitter. Patton will go on the pitch. Thacker fires, and he misses high with a curveball for ball 4. So men at first and second now with 2 down for Peyton Miller. Second walk in as many innings for Bryson Thacker. So that is now Grant Hunter's 5th consecutive plate appearance without an official at-bat recorded after the 4 in Pulaski on Sunday. Here's Peyton Miller, first and second, 2 away. Miller takes a breaker for a strike. Thacker relying on that curveball quite a bit here in his first trip through the Flyboys order. Miller, another guy whose batting average by itself will not blow you away, but he's found ways to reach base. The OBP of 327. And the 0-1. Miller hits one on the ground to second base. Morrow swallows it up. Throw to first is in time to retire Miller, and that ends the inning. So the Flyboys strand a pair with 2 away in the frame after an inning and a half. Scoreless between Greenville and Johnson City on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Headed to the bottom of the second here from Johnson City, Tennessee, where the Greenville Flyboys and the Johnson City Doughboys are scoreless. Freddie Baravitas, the lefty, back to the mound for Greenville. He'll face 5, 6, 7 in the Doughboys order. Digging in, the right-handed batter, Brandon Chang, who drives the first pitch to deep right center field. Adams and Hare ranging over. They won't get it. This one hops the wall. Chang on his way to second will stop there with a stand-up double. One pitch, and the Doughboys are threatening here in inning number 2. Chang got an elevated fastball there from Benavides. Hit it the other way. This cavernous outfield here. The outfield wall, 315 feet down the right field line, 400 to dead center. So those gaps get pretty deep pretty quickly. Trey Majette, the switch hitter, digging in from the right side. The pitch. Majette takes a breaking ball that misses low. Majette on the season, hitting .322 with 10 driven in. He's got a homer to his credit. The 1-0. Majette takes a breaker for a strike that time from Benavides. Pair of lefties going at it here tonight. Both have been effective for their respective sides. Just 2 combined runs allowed in over 20 innings pitched. Here's the 1-1. Majette takes low from Benavides. This is something that Johnson City is going to have to do, make Benavides uncomfortable. When he's from the windup, at least what we saw against Pulaski in his last start, he tends to work quickly. Here's the 2-1. Majette takes a curveball for a strike. And the count now 2-2. Chang leading off second. He's the catcher. Can't imagine he'll be very aggressive trying to take third. Here's the 2-2. Majette takes strike 3. Benavides got him on the fastball there. We talked about it in the last half inning about how that outside strike is going to be called. That one at 93 on the low outside corner. To the right-handed batter. And now Leighton Daly, the third baseman, digging in. Chang at second, 1 away. Scoreless here in the bottom of the second. Benavides steals. A breaker for a strike to Daly. So in his last start, he leaned on that fastball quite a bit. So far tonight, both he and Bryson Thacker, the Johnson City starter, with a heavy dose of off-speed pitches. The 0-1. Daly takes low and in. Daly thinks he got hit, but the home plate umpire saying otherwise. Zach Bloom saying, hey, get back here. Daly had flipped his bat towards the third base dugout. Started taking off his black shin guard, but Bloom brought him back. I think if you get hit on the foot, you'd be jumping around a little bit. Daly was not. 1-1, low and in. Bloom behind the plate. Marcus DeCiso is the field umpire tonight. Benavides trying to strand the leadoff double. Here's the 2-1. Daly takes an inside strike from Benavides. Benavides has a couple different fastballs he likes to throw. That one looked like a two-seamer, running back to the inside part of the plate. Velocity there in the mid-80s, but he could get up to 95. 2-2, breaking ball, chopped foul past third base. We've talked about it before, but Benavides is a guy who can rear back and get a little extra when he needs it. Imposing left-handed pitcher. A look at second, and the 2-2. Daly fouls it back. The rain has subsided, at least for the time being. There was some falling before first pitch. We were pushed back half an hour from our scheduled start time of 7 o'clock. Every other game in the Appy League was victim to an early delay as well. And time called at home plate by Daly before the 2-2. Elsewhere around the league, Kingsport and Burlington. High-scoring affair early. 2-2. Daly takes low and in. The Axemen leading the Sock Puppets 4-2 in the bottom of the second. Elizabethton and Bristol still have not gotten underway. And we've had 2 postponements already. Tri-State at Bluefield canceled, and Danville and Pulaski postponed. Here's the 3-2. Daly takes outside for ball 4. Benavides losing him there. Tried the breaking ball, but he didn't get on top of it like he wanted. Big spot early in this game, 2-on-1 away. The bottom of the Johnson City order will be responsible for driving these men in. But before that, Flyboys manager Jack Wilson walking out of the dugout. He wants to talk to Freddie Baravitas and the rest of the Flyboys infield. Ryan Jones, the DH, the one digging in. Jones also a catcher by trade for Johnson City. Jones has a couple of hits in 2 games against the Flyboys this season. Both of them singles. He's been in the number 8 spot now for all 3 meetings between these 2 teams. So Jack Wilson saying, hey, we can get this guy to roll over, maybe get an inning-ending double play out of it. See how Greenville wants to attack him here. Jones out of Canassus College by way of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. So he's a little bit further south than he is when he plays his college ball. First pitch, low and in. Jones, another right-handed batter. I think this is the first lefty-lefty matchup we've had here in this Flyboys season. Greenville hasn't faced a ton of left-handed pitchers as starters. 1-0. Jones takes a fastball for a strike. That one about belt high. The Flyboys so far this year have faced just 2 lefty starting pitchers. They are 0-2 against them. Johnson City facing its 6th lefty starter of the year. The Doughboys enter tonight 2-3. 1-1, a fastball that misses low from Baravitas. You can see those first 2 pitches, well, 2 of the first 3, I should say. Fastballs low and in. So trying to get Jones to roll over and hit it weakly on the ground. Chang at second, Daly at first. 2-1 on Jones. Baravitas steals. Jones takes high and outside for ball 3. Baravitas, the walks had been a bit of a problem for him. 4 in 7 innings entering tonight, but 2 already in the first 2 innings tonight. And now a 3-1 count on the Johnson City number 8 hitter. Here's the pitch. A strike on the low inside corner. Baravitas loading the count up. He'll have to stay on the attack here. The left fielder, Logan Dunn, waits on deck. His batting average nearly 100 points higher than Jones in the box. Here's the payoff. Chopped up the first base line, foul. Brady Francisco is the Greenville catcher here tonight. He will join Freddie Baravitas, the man on the mound, in North Carolina as the Flyboys take on the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team on the 4th of July. Jace Patton is at third base. Peyton Miller is at short. Tyler Inge at second. And Dylan Jackson at first. Here's another 3-2. Jones, a high chopper right in front of home plate. Baravitas waits on it. Underhand flip to first is in time to retire Jones. Jones hit that one straight into the ground. And it bounced so high in the air that Baravitas' only chance at making it out was to wait on that ball to come down and go to first to get the sure out. So second and third, 2 gone for Logan Dunn, left-handed batter digging in. And you look at his numbers, Dunn is more or less the second leadoff guy at the bottom of this Johnson City order, hitting over 320 on the season. 2 men in scoring position for him here. The pitch from Baravitas. Dunn takes a curveball at the top of the zone for a strike. We've seen both of these pitchers leaving those breaking balls up in the zone quite a bit. I think a big part of why they've been able to get away with it is because a lot of these guys are facing them for the first time ever. Here's the 0-1. Dunn chops the breaker on the ground to the right side. Tyler Inge waits on it, fields on a short hop. Low throw is dug out by Dylan Jackson at first. Dunn sprinting up the first base line, tripped as he went across first base. He is okay, though he is retired to end the inning. Baravitas strands a pair as we go to the 3rd inning here in Johnson City. All scoreless between the Flyboys and the Doughboys here in the Greenville Flyboys Baseball Network. I think the song is fitting as we begin the top of the 3rd here from Johnson City. The Flyboys and the Doughboys in action here tonight. Scoreless as we go back to the top of the order. Reed Hare, Tyler Inge, and Ezra McNaughton. Lefty, righty, lefty facing Bryson Thacker for the 2nd time. Here's the first pitch to Reed Hare. He squares to bunt, takes a breaking ball up and in. The count 1-0. MLB All-Star voting wrapping up tomorrow. And it's a good time to remind you, as always, that you should vote for Jacob Wilson of the Athletics as the All-Star starter. Hare takes low and outside. Wilson, the A's shortstop, among the best hitters in baseball in the first half of the season. And I'm sure Flyboys manager Jack Wilson would be very pleased. I heard that he might bring back some hats if Wilson earns the start. Hare smacks a hanging breaking ball into left field. It's on a short hop past the left fielder, Logan Dunn. And that allows Reed Hare to move up to second. And that throw in rolling away, but cut off there by Trey Majette, who was backing up the play. So Hare, a leadoff base hit. I'm assuming that'll be scored a single and an E7 charged to Logan Dunn. It was a hard line drive hit right at him. Dunn decided late that he wanted to pull up and play it on a hop. And as he did, the ball took a higher bounce than he was expecting off that outfield turf, allowing Hare to move up from first to second. So that'll be a single and an error charged to Dunn. Tyler Inge digging in from the right side. That's something Johnson City has really struggled with. Here's the pitch. Inge squares to bunt, pulls back. It's ball one. Johnson City entering tonight was in the upper echelon of something that you don't want to lead the Appy League in. A league worst 37 errors through 21 games. That'll be number 38. 1-0 on Inge. Here's the pitch. Inge takes a strike. Fastball on the low outside corner. Of course, that also means that Johnson City has the worst fielding percentage of any team in the league. 949. The league average, 964. So they are 15 points below league average. Here's the 1-1. Inge pops it foul over the first base dugout, out of play. Burlington playing great defense early in the season. A 981 fielding percentage. The Flyboys were right up there until that wild game late last week where Greenville committed 8 errors. That is a season worst. And I have not checked this, but I would assume that's a season worst for any Appy League team in a game that they won. Committing 8 errors and still winning, that's a wild way to get it done. But it counts just the same. Here's the 1-2 to Inge. A fastball fouled straight back. Thacker trying that one up and away. The Johnson City southpaw now up to 49 pitches, or 48, I should say. This next one will be number 49. Thacker has thrown 29 strikes. He's walked a man in each of his first 2 innings. Some trouble here with Reed Hare, the leadoff base runner at second, and nobody away. Here's the pitch. Inge takes an off speed and misses outside. The count now 2-2. What you don't want to do if you're Bryson Thacker is put Ezra McNaughton in a situation where he's hitting with men at first and second and nobody away. I don't think that that's a situation where you'd ever want to face McNaughton. And he's shown that he likes hitting in this park with a pair of home runs in as many games. Have to attack Inge here. The 2-2. Inge takes low and in for ball 3. And we'll see what Thacker does here. He's leaned on that breaking ball quite a bit so far tonight. Used it to steal some strikes in his first trip through the Flyboys order. But he's also been prone to leaving it elevated. Hare, a few steps off second. And the 3-2. Inge chops one up the middle. Fife cutting it off from shortstop. Throw on the run, beats Inge by a step. That's the first out of the inning. On the play, Reed Hare advances to third base. Inge caught that one a little bit off the end of the bat, got on top of it. And now the batter, Ezra McNaughton, leading the Appy League with his 7 homers. No other player has more than 4. McNaughton also second in the league with his 1322 on-base plus slugging. He's flirting with a 400 batting average, just shy at 393 entering this game. He walked his first time up. Here's the pitch. Thacker misses low and outside. With the man on third, Thacker going from the windup. The third baseman, Leighton Daly, with his yellow shoes is even with the bag. He's playing well off the line. Here's the 1-0. McNaughton takes low and outside. Ball 2. Johnson City's infield is shading McNaughton slightly to his pull side. Mentioned Daly, the third baseman, off the line. Trey Majette, the first baseman, playing well behind the bag and near the foul line. 2-0. Popped up to left field. Logan Dunn is camped under it. Hare looks like he's going to tag. The catch is made. Hare tags. The throw coming in is offline and well late. And Ezra McNaughton gets the Flyboys on the board here in the top of the third with a sacrifice fly. Greenville takes a 1-0 lead. RBI number 23 on the season for Ezra McNaughton. Over 1 RBI per game. That's a pretty good pace. Hare scoring. And now the batter, Dylan Jackson, the Flyboys' first baseman here. Base is empty, 2 down. McNaughton doing a good job there of driving that ball deep enough into the outfield. Here's the pitch to Jackson. Backdoor breaking ball. Jackson didn't like the call, but it's strike 1. And that one looked like it was well off the plate away. But Zach Bloom clearly calling those pitches out there. He's been consistent with it. Here's the 0-1. Jackson hits it up the first base line, foul. First base coach Tyke Redmond couldn't quite get a hand on it. Johnson City does a good job of packing this place out. This is one of the more sparse crowds we've seen, I think, given the weather. A lot of fans trying to avoid it. Thacker wants a new baseball before the 0-2. But we had crowds over 3,800 each of the first 2 meetings between these teams. I don't know that we're going to hit that mark tonight. Just by eyeballing it, I'm going to guess it's about 2,500 maybe. But we'll see. Jackson choking up with 2 strikes. And the pitch from Thacker. Jackson takes high. Fastball tailing up and away that time. And you can see the horizontal movement on that heater from Bryson Thacker. It's a big part of why. Entering tonight, he hadn't allowed any runs. The Flyboys being the first to snap his scoreless streak. 1-2. Jackson hits a chopper up the middle. Thacker loses his glove trying to backhand it. Morrow cuts it off from second base, but his running throw is well late. It's an infield hit for Dylan Jackson. And I know this is a rule on balls hit in the air. I don't know if it's a rule with balls hit on the ground. I'd imagine it is. If a player throws his glove at a batted ball and the ball makes contact with the glove, it's an automatic triple. Thacker tried to backhand that one, lost his glove in the process, was not able to knock the ball down. As Jackson leads off first, the batter now Jace Patton, and Patton takes low and in. The curveball misses. That's a rule on balls hit in the air. For example, a line drive over an infielder's head. Sometimes you'll see guys in practice or just messing around throw their glove at it. But there's a reason players don't do that in a game. 1-0 on Patton. A throw over to first, and Jackson shuffles back in. It's kind of like a catcher retrieving a ball in fair territory by touching it with his mask. You can't do that either. Obscure rules that rarely, if ever, pop up in game situations. 1-0. Patton takes a fastball well high. Leaning out of the way of that one as if he was playing limbo. The lights are on here in Johnson City. There's some sun trying to poke through the clouds, but I don't know that it's going to succeed here in the twilight hours. Here's the 2-0 to Patton. Way high and outside. Chang leaping from his knees to snare that one on a backhand. That was headed for the backstop. Greenville leading 1-0 here in the top of the third. The Flyboys scoring the first run any team has scored on Bryson Thacker as we approach the halfway point of this Appy League season. Here's the 3-0. Patton takes outside. It's a 4-pitch, 2-out walk. So Thacker has now walked a man in all 3 innings. Man at first, man at second, the batter Brady Francisco. Francisco flew out to center. He didn't miss it by much his last time up. And now coming out of the dugout, the Johnson City pitching coach, Reed Casey. Casey very quickly walking out of that third base dugout to talk to Thacker. Brandon Chang, the catcher, is also out there. And this is a big spot in this game for Greenville. Looking to capitalize, especially after Johnson City stranded a pair of men in scoring position in the last half inning. Mound meeting breaks up. Francisco gets set to step in the righty box. Jackson now at second, Patton at first, both of them reaching with 2 outs. Couple hits in the inning for the Flyboys as they look to extend this 1-0 advantage. See if maybe the Flyboys want to get aggressive with the righty in the box. The men on the base paths. Here's the pitch. Francisco takes a breaking ball for a strike. Thacker was throwing more fastballs before that mound meeting. Mentioned, had a lot of off-speed pitches in his first trip through the Flyboys order. Trying to pitch guys backwards. That's what he's gone back to here. 0-1 on Francisco. A look at second. And the pitch. Francisco fouls it away. That fastball on the outer part of the plate, just above the knees. 2 quick strikes on Francisco. That breaking ball from Thacker showing up as a sweeper. One of the newer pitches you've seen across different levels of baseball over the last few years. Some people think it's a slurve, others think it's just a slider. It profiles a little bit differently. Here's the 0-2. Francisco brushed off the plate by a fastball. And the count now 1-2. The thing about the sweeper is it's faster than a curveball, but it doesn't drop as much. The movement is just different. It's a pitch that Shohei Ohtani likes to throw when he's on the mound. You've seen a lot of guys try to add it. 1-2. Francisco swings and misses at the breaking ball. And that's strike 3. So Thacker strands a pair, but the Flyboys strike first on the sac fly from Ezra McNaughton. As we go to the bottom of the third, Greenville leading 1-0 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. New pitcher on for the Flyboys as we get set for the bottom of the third inning. It's Braxton Lewis coming on out of the bullpen for Greenville. Lewis replacing Freddie Benavides. Benavides throwing 2 scoreless innings, allowing a hit, walking 2, and striking out 1 man. 1 trip through the order for him. So Lewis will face Logan Fife, Dane Morrow, and the right fielder Nate Connor. 1, 2, 3 in this Johnson City lineup. Lewis on for the 9th time this season for Greenville. First pitch to Fife, right-handed batter, takes a strike at the knees. Lewis in 8 innings this season, 6 runs on 8 hits, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts. As Fife takes outside, the count now 1-1. Lewis out of Tennessee Tech. He's a Knoxville native, very familiar with this part of the country. Here's the 1-1. Fife, it's a chopper on the ground to third, but foul. As Lewis had him out in front on an off-speed pitch there, the count now 1-2. Johnson City has been trailing in the better part of its 3 games against Greenville so far this season. Lewis the wind and the 1-2. This is outside. Flyboys controlled it wire to wire in the first meeting between these teams just shy of a week ago. That was a 19-1 win. The most runs at that time scored by any team in the Appy League in a single game this year. Fife takes inside, and the count now 3-2. And then Greenville rallying late after trailing for the better part of the first 6 innings, winning in the second meeting between these two. It's kind of an odd travel schedule, the way the Appy League set it up this week. 3-2 on Fife. Soft liner down the right field line. That ball is tailing foul. Fife catching it off the end of the bat a little bit. TJ Adams gave it a look, but that ball tailed towards the corner. And the Flyboys bullpen, where a right-hander is up and throwing, will be at home we'll see Johnson City come to Greenville for the first time tomorrow. And we'll be back here on Thursday. I'm going to say that this is a 3-game series just because it's 3 games in 3 days against the same team. But road, home, road is interesting. Here's the 3-2. Fife takes a breaking ball that misses high. It's ball 4. Fife has been on base more times than not facing the Flyboys. We mentioned he was 5 for 6 the last time these teams met. Not doing his damage with the slug, at least not yet, as Dane Morrow, the left-handed batting second baseman, digs in. Fife has good speed. 4 stolen bases on the season for him. It's game 22 for Johnson City. Here's the pitch to Morrow. Lewis misses outside. Morrow also with good speed. We mentioned he's 7 for 7 swiping bags. So this may be a tough double play turn here for the Flyboys defense. They've turned 17 of them. Here's the 1-0. Morrow takes a strike on the low outside corner. 17 double plays for the Flyboys defense, second to only Elizabethton. The River Riders have 22. 1-1 on Morrow. And the pitch. Fouled back. Lewis tried the low outside fastball. Morrow just getting a piece. Honestly, I'm surprised that Johnson City has not hit more home runs, especially playing in this ballpark. It seems like, again, based on what we've seen, with the Flyboys being here. Here's the 1-2. Morrow takes low. Lewis missing with the fastball there. That looked like it caught the bottom of the strike zone, but Zach Bloom said otherwise. With the way the ball flies here, it's kind of surprising Johnson City tied for 8th in the Appy League with just 7 home runs. Fife a short lead at first. And the 2-2. A line drive towards the left field corner. Grant Hunter ranging over, but that ball tails foul. There's a decent amount of foul territory here. Again, I talked about it one of the last time these teams met, but the warning track on this all-turf playing field is the same surface as the turf in fair territory. So when the fielders get near the wall or the fencing or the dugout, you can't feel any difference in your feet. A throw over to first, and Fife dives back in without a play. And I always thought that, sure, you might see it out of your peripheral vision. You'll see that the turf is brown instead of green, but you don't feel it the way you do on a natural grass surface. So I don't know that the warning track actually serves its intended purpose. The 2-2 one more time. A chopper to the right side. That ball was through for a base hit. Fife pulling up at second. McNaughton, or that was Dylan Jackson, I should say, holding the runner on at first. If he's not holding the base runner, there's a chance the Flyboys can turn a double play there. That ball was not hit all that hard. It was a chopper that got through on 2 or 3 bounces. But Morrow will take it. He's aboard for the second time in 3 innings tonight. And the batter now, Nate Connor. Remembering back to the first inning, Connor hit that deep line drive to center field that Reed Hare was able to grab. He's facing Freddie Benavides, put a good swing on one. We'll see what Connor can do here. First and second, nobody away. Greenville leading 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Lewis in a tough spot out of the bullpen. Here's the pitch. Connor takes a strike. Fastball there from Lewis at 91. TVA Credit Union Ballpark, the longtime home of the Johnson City Cardinals. A rookie ball team from the mid-70s to 2020. 0-1 misses high and outside. And I was doing some reading before the game because Doughboys is an interesting name. But you can see the Johnson City logo. They use black and tan coloring. 1-1. Connor hits a line drive over the head of Tyler Inge. That ball is down into right center field. Fife will score from second base. Morrow going first to third. And Johnson City has tied it at 1. Mentioned the line drive that Connor hit his first time up. Was robbed that time. Was robbed the first time, I should say. But that time he comes through. Johnson City ties it at 1 here in the bottom of the third. RBI number 11 on the season for Nate Connor. And now the batter, Paris Pridgeon. Before that, the Flyboys pitching coach, Jared Morton, taking the slow walk out of the dugout to talk things over with Lewis. 3 straight base runners to start his relief appearance. And Morton just looking to calm down Lewis here. Johnson City entering tonight 5.5 games back. They were last in the Appy League West. The Flyboys were first at 14-6. They had a 3.5 game lead over both Bristol and Kingsport. Johnson City, though, a formidable opponent. I feel like they're better than their record shows, especially considering the second meeting between these two. They controlled it most of the way. Then the lightning delay hit when the Flyboys had the bases loaded with nobody out, and from there it was all Greenville. Mound meeting breaking up. Tough spot still for Lewis. First and third, nobody out. Johnson City just scoring the tying run here in the bottom of the third. An RBI single for Nate Connor. Now Paris Pridgeon stepping in. He was robbed of a base hit back in the first. Peyton Miller at shortstop for the first time this season made a leaping grab to snare a low line drive. Jackson holding the man on at first. Morrow a short lead off third. Righty to righty, the pitch. Pridgeon takes a high breaking ball. It's ball 1 from Braxton Lewis. A walk and then back-to-back singles to start the home half of this third inning. Lewis is ready. And now the 1-0. Pridgeon takes in the dirt. Nice block there by Brady Francisco. Francisco wants a new baseball. But Lewis, not up to the start he would want out of the bullpen. He's thrown 17 pitches already and has not recorded an out. Mentioned there was a right-hander up and throwing in the Flyboys bullpen. Here's the 2-0. Pridgeon takes a strike. Fastball on the outside corner. Again, that outside strike has been called pretty consistently tonight. So especially now with the second trip through the order, not sure how much complaining the hitters will be able to do. Here's the 2-1. Pridgeon swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Lewis had him fooled, took something off of that one, and the count now 2-2. Pridgeon takes a second, steps out of the box. He's got a bright red shin guard on his left leg. Lewis is set. And the 2-2. Pridgeon checks his swing. Lewis tried the breaking ball again, but Pridgeon held up that time. And the count now 3-2. This is danger time for Braxton Lewis. You've already got first and third, nobody out. Now 20 pitches in the inning without retiring anybody. You're a pitch away from loading the bases. Needs his best stuff here before he comes to the plate. A check on first. Connor is in safely. Everything has been low and away to Pridgeon, except for the first pitch where Lewis had a breaking ball sail on him. Here's the 3-2. Pridgeon lines one toward right field. Johnson City will take the lead. Morrow scores. Connor going first to third. TJ Adams gets the ball in quickly to hold Pridgeon to a single. But it's an RBI base hit for Paris Pridgeon. His 5th man driven in on the season. And Johnson City leads 2-1 here in the home half of the third. Four straight base runners for Johnson City here to start the bottom of the third. A good response by the home squad after Greenville took a 1-0 lead. And now the batter, Brandon Chang, who began last inning with a backside double that he rocketed to the right center field gap. First and third once again after Pridgeon's RBI single. He's got good speed. And the pitch. Chang hits another one well down the line and right. Long run for Adams near the corner. That ball is foul. And that's probably a good thing. It spun foul off the end of the bat from Brandon Chang. Otherwise, he would have had at least a 2-run double. A lot of hard hit balls here in this inning for Johnson City. Having no trouble against Braxton Lewis. Freddie Benavides only allowed 1 hit in 2 innings. Lewis has given up 3, all consecutively here. 0-1 on Brandon Chang. Lewis needs it out. Here's the pitch. Chang takes a low strike. That fastball from Lewis right at the knees. And Chang asks for time. Pridgeon at first. Wonder if maybe they'll start him, Will Johnson City. It's their leading base stealer, 8 for 9. He's got a pretty good lead over there. Lewis, the right-hander, is set. And the pitch. Chang takes outside. Lewis missing with the fastball. 2-1 Johnson City here in the bottom of the 3rd. Doughboys out hitting the Flyboys, 4-3. Connor off 3rd, Pridgeon off 1st, a bigger lead. And the 1-2. Chang fouls it away off the screen behind home plate. The Doughboys mentioned their military-inspired logo. It's the silhouette of a man in a helmet. Black and tan coloring. Doughboys was a nickname for United States military members from World War I until about 1940. So that's where the name comes from. Another 1-2 to Chang. The runner goes. Pitch swung on and missed. Throw down to second. The tag from Inge, not applied. So Chang is gone on the strikeout. Pridgeon swipes his 9th base of the season. That ball was in and out of the glove of Tyler Inge. Probably would have been late even if he was able to get the tag down. So that takes away the double play opportunity. Men at 2nd and 3rd now for Trey Majette, but a big first out there recorded by Braxton Lewis. Majette struck out looking last inning when he faced Freddie Benavides. Lewis is ready, right on left. Here's the pitch. Majette takes a backdoor breaking ball that misses away. Doughboys specifically honoring American infantrymen who died during World War I. Lewis is ready. Here's the 1-0. Majette takes a breaking ball low and in. And Lewis not getting many chases below the zone. We saw Paris Pridgeon chase one of those breaking balls. But otherwise, Johnson City is seeing it very well against Lewis, the right-hander. He's now up to 29 pitches in this inning. He's only recorded 1 out. Here's the 2-0. Majette takes inside, ball 3. And now if you're the Flyboys, you're starting to think, okay, you were hoping maybe Lewis could get through 2 innings by throwing 30 pitches. But that dream is gone. How much longer will Lewis go before the Flyboys go to the bullpen again? I can't imagine it's going to be much longer. There's been some activity in the bullpen now for, I'd say, about 10 or 15 minutes. 3-0. Majette takes a strike. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Honestly, kind of surprised we haven't seen pitchers leaning on that more, especially since it's been called and hitters aren't really that aggressive on that outside fastball. Here's the 3-1. Majette lines one toward right center field. Hare coming on, has to play it on a bounce. 1 run scores. Pridgeon had to make sure it was getting down, so that's all Johnson City gets. But now the 3rd RBI single in 4 batters. Johnson City leads 3-1. And the bleachers accounting for most of the noise. There aren't actually that many fans here, but the bleachers make it seem like a packed house. The batter now Leighton Daly. 4 of the last 5 men have hit safely against Lewis. 3-1 Johnson City here in the bottom of the 3rd. 1 away with men on the corners. Majette at first base with good speed. Daly an upright stance in the righty box. He goes. The pitch Daly takes low and in. Throw down to second is late. And Majette steals second base. Second stolen base of the inning for Johnson City. Once again, taking away the double play opportunity. Both corner infielders now creeping forward a little bit. The Flyboys' first baseman, Dylan Jackson, has his toes on the infield grass. Jace Patton hugging the third base line. 1-0. Daly lines one toward right center field. This ball might be trouble. That is down. That will score 2 as the throw coming in is cut off by Dylan Jackson. And it goes from bad to worse here for the Flyboys in the third inning. 2-run single from Leighton Daly, who entering this game was 0 for 17 on the season. Daly had not recorded a hit in Johnson City's first 22 games, but he is now 1 for 18 after the 2-run single to right center field. Dylan Jackson, the Flyboys' first baseman, who is also a catcher, goes to the mound to talk to Braxton Lewis. Lewis has thrown 34 pitches in the inning, and he's allowed 5 runs while recording just 1 out. 8th man to the plate in the inning is Ryan Jones, the designated hitter. Flyboys had done a good job of preventing the big inning. The most they had given up in a frame against Johnson City before tonight was 2 runs. Pitch to Jones. A chopper back to the mound. Lewis fields, goes to second for 1. Miller to first. It's a double play. Started by Braxton Lewis. Score at 1-6-3. And that ends the inning. But not before Johnson City scores 5 times on 5 hits. And the Flyboys have some work to do after 3. 5-1 Johnson City over the Doughboys. Or excuse me, 5-1 Johnson City over Greenville on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Greenville's got some work to do here as we begin the 4th inning. Flyboys trailing Johnson City 5-1. Johnson City starting pitcher Bryson Thacker has got some run support and some insurance after 5 hits in the last inning by the Johnson City order. They sent 8 to the plate. It'll be TJ Adams, Grant Hunter, and Peyton Miller, 7, 8, 9 in the Greenville order, as the Flyboys try to draw closer here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. Got some sun peeking through the clouds just a little bit, which is good news because this game began half an hour after it was scheduled to due to some rain and storms in the area. A conference on the mound between Brandon Chang and Bryson Thacker before Adams steps in. A somewhat lengthy conversation. Home plate umpire Zach Bloom walking out saying, hey, gentlemen, we've got a baseball game to play. So it'll be the bottom third of this Flyboys order to get things started here. In the top of the 4th inning, Thacker, the lefty, see what he can do with his first lead of the game. The pitch to Adams, swung on in line to left field. Dunn, though, has it played perfectly. Barely had to move, and that's the first out. Unlucky there for TJ Adams. That was off the bat at 99 miles an hour. Unfortunately for him, Logan Dunn was right there. Grant Hunter, the next to hit. Hunter now with 5 consecutive plate appearances without recording an at-bat. He's 1 away from doing what Lane Akers was able to do in 1 game here last week. That tied a Major League record that was set back in the late 1800s. Hunter fouls back the first pitch. Elsewhere around the Appy League, only 2 other games in progress. Bluefield and Tri-State rained out. Danville and Pulaski postponed. Don't look now, but the Otterbots are only in last place in the Appy League East by a game and a half behind Tri-State. Now that will not change because of the inclement weather tonight. 0-1 on Hunter. The pitch from Thacker. Swung on and missed. Hunter tried to go up and get that fastball that was about shoulder high. Could not do so. Kingsport has blown it open. The Axemen leading Burlington 9-2 in the bottom of the 4th. Burlington struggling on the road facing the Axemen. Here's the 0-2 to Hunter. Outside. Thacker misses with the heater that time. Bristol and Elizabethton scoreless at the end of 3. 4th of July weekend shaping up to be a fun one in the Appy League. Flyboys will host the Bluefield Ridge Runners for 3 games beginning on Thursday. 1-2, backdoor breaker, strike 3 called to Hunter. Got him on that sweeper. Thacker's 5th strikeout of the game. And if you're Johnson City, that's exactly what you want. After a big inning at the plate, you want a quick shutdown inning from Bryson Thacker. First 2 men retired in short order, and it's up to Peyton Miller to keep it going. Greenville trailing 5-1 here in the top of the 4th. Miller 0 for 1, grounded out to second, his first time. The pitch from Thacker. Miller squares to bunt, pulls back. Breaking ball misses high. Miller at shortstop for the Flyboys here tonight. Usually he's a second baseman. 1-0, hit in the air to center field. Paris Pridgen barely has to move. He makes the catch just above his hat, and that ends the inning. So it's an unproductive 4th inning for Greenville as Bryson Thacker retires the side in order. On to the bottom of the 4th we go. Greenville trailing Johnson City 5-1 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. New reliever out of the bullpen for the Flyboys. As we begin the bottom of the 4th inning, Greenville trailing Johnson City 5-1. Both sides scoring all of their runs in the 3rd inning of play. Drew Maddox, the right-hander, will face 9-1-2 in the Doughboys order. He'll begin by facing Logan Dunn, the Doughboys left fielder. Dunn digging in from the left side. Here's the pitch from Maddox. The righty misses low with a breaking ball. Dunn was the only man who did not join the party in that 3rd inning. Johnson City sent 8 men to the plate. 5 of them hit safely, 5 of them scored, highlighted by the 2-run single from Leighton Daly, who entering tonight was 0 for 17. So I'm sure he's happy to get that one to go through. Dunn takes low and in for ball 2 from Drew Maddox. Maddox, a Knoxville native, also joining the Flyboys by way of Tennessee Tech. This is his 8th appearance of the season for Greenville. Here's the 2-0. Dunn takes low and in, ball 3. Maddox was missing with the fastball there. Maddox has been good so far. 11 innings, just 1 earned run allowed, 3 unearned. 4 hits, 4 walks, 11 Ks. Here's the 3-0. Dunn takes a strike as Maddox will try to work back from down 3-0 to the Johnson City number 9 hitter. And we'll see, hopefully he can do so successfully, because otherwise it's right back to the top of the order where all the trouble began last inning. Here's the 3-1. Dunn fouls it back, strike 2. We had overcast, cloudy skies and some light rain at first pitch, but now we've got some pink and purple clouds behind the center field wall as the sun has started to set here in Johnson City. Very pleasant, cool evening, temperature in the mid-70s. Here's the 3-2. Dunn hits it foul over the third base dugout. He'll stay alive. TVA Credit Union Ballpark basically unchanged since it opened back in the 70s. 3-2 on Dunn. That pitch misses low. It's a leadoff walk. Second leadoff walk issued in as many innings by Flyboys pitching. Back to the top of the order now for Logan Fife. It's bad news for the Flyboys. Fife, an on-base percentage well over 500 against Greenville so far this year. He walked and scored last inning. Flew out his first time. Dunn, not a big threat to steal, just 1 for 3 swiping bags so far. Right on right. Pitch from Maddox. Hits him. Fife gets hit just below the belt. And once again, 2 on, nobody out for Johnson City. That'll prompt a mound meeting between Maddox and the Flyboys catcher, Brady Francisco, before the second baseman, Dane Morrow, steps in. And if the Flyboys aren't careful, this game could get very ugly very quickly. Johnson City, I'm sure, The Doughboys with a bad taste in their mouth after the Flyboys beat them in ugly fashion. Mentioned Flyboys scoring 11 runs in the final 2 innings of the last meeting between these two teams, Greenville winning 16-12. And then the night before that, Greenville scoring 19 runs, winning 19-1. Dane Morrow digging in. No batting gloves for him, the lefty batter. The pitch. A line drive toward right field. TJ Adams coming on, makes the catch. Tailing towards the line a few steps. Hard hit, but it's out number 1. Now the batter. The right fielder, Nate Connor, digging in. Connor had an RBI single. He's hit it hard both times. Run-scoring single and a line-out for him. Rocky, the Johnson City bat dog, a black lab, has been very busy here tonight. Johnson City batting through its order for the 3rd time in 4 frames. Another lefty batter as Connor steps in. Batting average for him approaching 300. Entered tonight at 296. Here's the pitch. Connor swings and misses. Fastball there from Drew Maddox at 88 miles per hour. The overhang obscuring most of the lights here, so I'll have to break out my flashlight soon. 0-1 on Connor. Here's the pitch. Connor chops one to second, might be 2. Inge charges, shovels to second for 1. Miller will hold on to it. No return throw to first, but Fife is retired on the fielder's choice, scored 4-6. As Connor reaches, men on the corners, 2 away now for Paris Pridgeon. Pridgeon digging in, had an RBI single, stole a base, scored a run last inning. He's also hit it hard both times, a single and a line out. Johnson City looking to extend its 5-1 lead. Here's the pitch. Pridgeon pops it up to the right side. TJ Adams looking for it. I don't know if he can find it. He lost it in the lights. It's over his head. This is going to clear the bases. Pridgeon is thinking about 3, and he'll stop there. It's a 2-run triple. TJ Adams had his arms up. He lost that ball in the floodlights. That looked like a routine fly out to right field. It was ultimately over the head of Adams by a few steps. But that's one of those where Adams just could not find it off the bat. A bad break for Greenville. Johnson City now leading 7-1. Pridgeon will get credit for a triple on a ball that very easily should have ended the inning. Now the batter, Brandon Chang, the catcher, he takes low and outside. That's just a bad break for Greenville. The floodlights here in Johnson City are angled down towards the field. They're newer lights, not like the old ones where you can see all the bulbs and it's a bad idea to look right at them. 1-0. Chang takes low and outside. These are flat LED panels that are angled directly at the field, but I guess the lights behind home plate, which obviously we cannot see from where we sit, but that ball just went up into the lights and Adams never found it. Here's the 2-0. Chang chops one to the left side. Patton has to wait on it. Long throw across the diamond is on target and in time to end the inning. But an unfortunate break in that frame for Greenville. Paris Pridgeon, the beneficiary, he gets credit with a 2-run triple. But that ball was not ticketed for 3 bases off the bat. Doughboys at a pair. And after 4, Johnson City in control. 7-1 over Greenville on the Flyboys Baseball Network. As we begin the top of inning number 5, Bryson Thacker, the southpaw, still on the mound. He'll begin his 3rd trip through the Flyboys order, facing Reed Hare, Tyler Inge, and Ezra McNaughton. If you're the Flyboys, the good thing about being in this position is that you've done it before. Greenville with multiple come-from-behind wins in the last 2 weeks. The bad news is you're trailing by 6, and Thacker has done a good job of shutting down the offense. Hare digging in, 1 for 2. The lefty delivers a first pitch strike. Bryson Thacker up to 75 pitches on the nose. Johnson City looking for him to get through 5 innings. If he's really efficient this one, maybe 6, but that would be pushing it. Here's the 0-1 to Reed Hare. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Hare came out of his shoes that time. Hare's been good with runners on base for the Flyboys. The problem is, each of the 3 times he's hit now, including this AB, the bases have been empty. Thacker looking to retire Hare. The 0-2. Breaking ball. He jammed him. Popped up third base side. Leighton Daly has a play. And about 5 feet into foul territory, he makes the catch to retire Reed Hare. The batter now, Tyler Inge, 0 for 2. And really, all said, a good job by Bryson Thacker so far. Facing the top of this Flyboys order, he's allowed just 1 hit. 2 base runners, the other being the walk issued to Ezra McNaughton. He's done a great job of just keeping the Flyboys at bay. First pitch to Tyler Inge, a backdoor breaker for a strike. Thacker's landed that one now a fair few times. This is the Flyboys offense that is top in the Appy League at over 7 runs per game entering tonight. Here's the 0-1. Inge takes low. Breaker missing in the dirt that time. But so far, it's all Johnson City. 7-1 here in the top of the 5th. One and one, the pitch. Inge takes a strike. Fastball right down Broadway there. I don't know that Inge is going to see a better pitch all week. But that's the thing. When the pitcher gets ahead of you with a breaking ball, he can do whatever he wants, and sometimes he'll catch the hitter off guard. Here's the 1-2. Inge takes outside. Thacker tried the breaking ball there. But it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row, especially within the span of 5 days. 2-2. Inge takes away. Ball 3, also on the breaker. You're not going to beat a team 3 times in a week very often at any level of baseball. It's just generally not the way the game works, especially the way the Flyboys have been doing it, by scoring in bunches. Thacker, the numbers certainly bearing it out. One of Johnson City's better starters. Here's the 3-2. Inge taps a breaking ball on the ground to the left side. Daly cuts it off at third base. High throw is late, and Inge legs out the infield hit. Inge hit that one straight on the ground to the left side. It was a high chopper. Daly waited on it. Loaded up for a strong throw across the diamond. Problem is he waited too long. Inge, with good speed, hustling up the first base line, earns the single. And the batter now, Ezra McNaughton. No official at-bat on the ledger for him. A sacrifice fly and a walk. Inge leading off first. The lefty Thacker delivers. McNaughton hits one on the ground past the diving first baseman Trey Majette into right field. Inge looking to go first to third, will do so without a play. The throw is well late. And Ezra McNaughton jumps on the first pitch. He's got his first hit tonight. The Flyboys have men on the corners for the cleanup man, Dylan Jackson. You wonder how much longer Bryson Thacker will go. He's now up to 84 pitches. And facing the heart of this Flyboys order for a 3rd time is tough for any pitcher. I can't imagine he'll go much longer. You don't really see a starter get up over 80 pitches in the Appy League very often. Especially considering a lot of these guys are here to get a finite amount of innings. Most, if not all, are on pitch count limits. But Johnson City's pitching staff after Thacker is pretty thin. The Doughboys, and now a slow walk out of the dugout from Johnson City manager Dave Anderson. This will probably be all for Thacker. After a lengthy conference, usually you see the manager come out quicker. I don't know that Thacker is going to get to face Dylan Jackson, and he's not. So Thacker will exit the game with men on the corners, 1 away in the 5th. He did a good job, though. As a new right-hander comes on out of the bullpen, we'll take a quick break. Flyboys trailing 7-1 here in the top of the 5th, but threatening on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Ethan Breslin on out of the bullpen for Johnson City here in the 5th inning. Doughboys leading Greenville 7-1. Flyboys, though, have men on the corners with 1 away for the cleanup man, Dylan Jackson. Breslin, the right-hander, on for his 6th appearance of the season. An ERA of 7.59 in 10 2/3 innings. See if the Flyboys can inflate that a little bit more. Jackson, the right-handed batter, is ready. And the first pitch, a breaking ball for a strike. Breslin worked 3 1/3 against Greenville in the last meeting between these two teams, which was nearly a week ago. Allowed just 1 run, but the first batter he faced picked up an RBI single, scoring an inherited runner. See if that's the case here as well. The 0-1. Jackson takes a slow breaking ball for a strike. He didn't like the call. You could tell with his body language, looking towards the Flyboys' first base dugout as if to say, really? The count now 0-2. Inge at third, McNaughton at first. Both are the responsibility of Bryson Thacker. Jackson choking up. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball line toward left field. That ball is down for a base hit. Inge will trot home, and the Flyboys get a run back on an RBI single from Dylan Jackson. It's now 7-2 here in the top of the 5th. Jackson doing a good job shortening up with 2 strikes. And the batter now, Jace Patton. McNaughton to second on the play. Patton has reached both times, a single and a walk. Breslin is ready. And the pitch. Patton lines one towards center field. Pridgeon coming in, makes the catch. No advance from either runner. Once again, Pridgeon positioned well. 2 on, 2 out for Brady Francisco. Patton just catching that one off the end of the bat a little bit. Francisco was 0 for 2 facing Bryson Thacker, a strikeout and a flyout. And after the crooked number put up by Johnson City, the Doughboys leading 7-2 here. 2 away in the top of the 5th. You're thinking for the Flyboys, 3 straight singles, you'd want to score more than 1 run. First pitch to Francisco, fouled away. You'd want to get that big inning that the Flyboys have been so good at getting. Multiple 2-run innings against Johnson City. A 5-run inning, a 7-run inning. I think it was actually 4 and 7 in the last game between these two teams. The 0-1. Francisco takes outside as Breslin misses with the off-speed pitch. And I was talking about this the last time Ethan Breslin was pitching against Greenville. I don't know that I ever was able to finish it. The name Breslin ringing some bells for Big Ten or just college basketball fans. 1-1. Francisco takes outside. The Breslin Center, where Michigan State plays basketball. The Spartans, still the last Big Ten team to win a national championship when Tom Izzo coached them to it some 25 years ago. The SEC claiming the last national title with Florida winning it all. 2-1. Francisco swings through a breaker. And the count now 2-2. Jackson at first, McNaughton at second. Flyboys trailing by 5, looking to get a couple more back here. Breslin delivers. Francisco takes low and outside. The second baseman, Dane Morrow, on a lot of these pitches, has been sprinting towards second base as if Breslin is going to attempt a pickoff. Of course, being that he's at second base, Morrow ends up in the sight line of the hitter. I wonder if maybe that's distracting for the Flyboys. Full count, 2 outs, runners go. The pitch is popped up. On the infield, Daly, the third baseman, is the one who takes charge and makes the catch to end the inning. Flyboys get 1 on the RBI single from Dylan Jackson, but they leave a pair. We are halfway home. Greenville trails 7-2 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Welcome back here to TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City, Tennessee, where the Flyboys trail Johnson City 7-2 as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Trey Majette will be followed by Leighton Daly and Ryan Jones. 6, 7, 8 in the order facing Drew Maddox. First pitch of the inning, line toward right center field. And Trey Majette is 2 for 3. Maddox, the right-hander, looking for things to go a little bit better in his second inning of relief. Didn't get much help last inning. Paris Pridgeon had a 2-run triple that added to Johnson City's lead, but that could have been a routine fly out to right. TJ Adams lost the ball in the lights. Leighton Daly had a 2-run single back in the 3rd inning. Daly, entering tonight, was 0 for 17 on the season. Man at first, Daly fouls it back. And if you're Maddox, you're thinking, okay, this is the part of the order where you're looking for the double play. The man on base, Ryan Jones, has grounded out twice, so he would be a candidate. But for the Flyboys, you just need to put up a couple zeros here. Johnson City has scored all 7 of its runs in the last 2 innings. As Brady Francisco wants to go out and have a word with Drew Maddox. Flyboys pitchers had been very good for the most part over the last couple weeks, but Johnson City getting the better of them here tonight, which will happen from time to time. It's never a straight line, but the Flyboys looking for what would be one of their more improbable comeback wins as things stand. But they've been in this spot before. Here's the 0-1 to Daly. Low and outside. Maddox missing with the fastball there. Floodlights now taking full effect here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. This game will go late into the night hours, as the last one did. Here's the 1-1. Daly swings and misses at a high fastball from Drew Maddox. It's one of those where, because we started 30 minutes late, that's why this game will go pretty late. Inclement weather all across the Appy League, forcing either late starts or outright cancellations of games. Man off of first is Majette. Here's the 1-2 on line to second base. Inge makes the catch. Throw to first is in time. It's a 4-3 double play turned by Tyler Inge and Dylan Jackson. A hard liner off the bat of Leighton Daly, but Inge was positioned perfectly. He made the catch and then threw over to first to double off Trey Majette. Good job there by the Flyboys infield, erasing the leadoff single, and now the batter, Ryan Jones, base is empty, 2 down. Maddox from the stretch. Jones takes an outside strike. Drew Maddox, one of those pitchers who always goes from the stretch, even with the bases clear. Maddox ready. And the 1-0. Jones takes outside. Maddox ready. Jones, the right-handed hitter, awaiting. The 1-1. Foul back. Straight into the screen. Kingsport is in run rule territory, leading Burlington 12-2 in the top of the 6th. Burlington's got a man at second with nobody out. Elizabethton up 3-0 on Bristol as they go to the 6th. We mentioned the 2 cancellations, Tri-State and Bluefield, and Danville at Pulaski as well. 1-2. Jones fouls it away. These 2 teams will be right back in action against each other tomorrow night. That'll be in Greenville, though, at Pioneer Park. Scheduled for a 7 p.m. first pitch there as well. 1-2 still on Jones. Here it comes. Fastball misses high. Appeal to first. Marcus DeCiso says he didn't go around. So Maddox, after erasing the leadoff single with the double play, the line out to Tyler Inge. Trey Majette doubled off, looking to retire Jones and end the inning. Here it comes. Outside for ball 3. Maddox took something off of that one, but couldn't quite get the chase. That one too far off the plate away. So a full count on Jones. Logan Dunn, the number 9 hitter, on deck. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 at the knees. Maddox got him on the heater there. And Greenville will head to the 6th, still trailing 9-2, but a good job by Maddox there of erasing the leadoff single. And we'll see if the Flyboys can eat into the deficit here as we go to the 6th on the Flyboys Baseball Network.
Does anyone see it? this.
Back here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City, Tennessee, where the Greenville Flyboys trail the Johnson City Doughboys. 7-2 our score after 5 here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Nick Rodecap here with you. The Flyboys still looking to break through, put up a crooked number, something that they've been good at doing this season, but have not been able to accomplish so far through 5 against the Doughboys. They'll have TJ Adams, Grant Hunter, and Peyton Miller due up against Ethan Breslin. Breslin, the right-hander, still on the mound for Johnson City. He worked out of a jam in the last inning, allowing just one inherited runner to score and stranding a pair. So the book is closed on Bryson Thacker, starting pitcher for the Doughboys. 4 1/3, 2 runs, 1 earned. 5 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. That is the first run that Bryson Thacker has allowed this season. Here's Adams lining one softly up the middle. Morrow fields on a hop behind second base. Throw to first is in time. 1 pitch, the leadoff man is gone. That'll bring Grant Hunter to the plate. This day in baseball history, July 1st, happy July, holy cow, I can't believe we're almost halfway through the season already. July 1st, 1859, there's a firework. At least I hope that was a firework. And we'll give you some of this day in baseball history as Hunter takes a strike. The first ever college baseball game was played on this day in 1859. And buckle your seatbelts because this is not a football score. Amherst beat Williams College 73-32. 0-1. Hunter takes a low outside breaking ball for a strike. In Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Some reports had it as being 66-32. Either way, that's a football score in a college baseball game. The 0-2. Hunter takes outside. This one is one of my favorites. July 1st, 1901. Chicago first baseman Jack Doyle, harassed by a Polo Grounds fan as Breslin steps off, jumps into the stands and hits him once with his left hand, re-injuring himself. As the 1-2 to Hunter, swung on, chopped up the third base line, fielded on 1 hop by Daly, throw across on a short hop, dug out cleanly by Trey Majette. It's the second out here in the top of the 6th. Now the batter, Peyton Miller, 0 for 2 tonight. Flyboys trailing 7-2 here in the top of the 6th. So Jack Doyle, Chicago first baseman at the Polo Grounds, gets mad at a fan, jumps into the stands and hits him with his previously injured left hand. He re-injures himself. And the Giants, Dummy Taylor, yes, that was his actual name, gets the win as New York beats Chicago 6-4. Dummy Taylor, first pitch to Miller, chopped to the left side, another short hop scoop for Daly, and another throw across to retire Peyton Miller. It's a quick 1-2-3 6th inning worked by Ethan Breslin. Flyboys dormant so far here tonight. They trail 7-2 as we go to the home half of inning number 6 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Johnson City in control as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning here from TVA Credit Union Ballpark. Drew Maddox still on the mound for Greenville. Worked around a leadoff single back in the 5th. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Doughboys order as we begin the 6th. Logan Dunn, the left-handed batter, digs in. A walk and a run scored so far tonight for him. Maddox back in the stretch. And the pitch. Dunn lines one toward left center field. This ball's hit pretty well. Hunter tracking back. That ball's off the wall. Dunn is thinking too. Here's the throw to second. The tag. He's safe. Hunter has his hands on his head in left field. He thinks he threw out Logan Dunn at second. From here, it looked like Dunn was able to slide just under the tag of Tyler Inge. The section of the wall where Dunn hit that ball on the fly is very low because of the scoreboard in left center. He missed a home run by about 2 feet. But Dunn legs out the leadoff 2-bagger. Second extra base hit for Johnson City here tonight. The Doughboys out hitting Greenville 9-6. Back to the top of the order for Logan Fife now. The pitch. Fife taps it up the middle. This will move the runner to third at least. It's through to center field for a base hit. Dunn is going to score, and Johnson City leads 8-2. That was a weakly hit chopper up the middle. I thought maybe Peyton Miller was going to have a chance to cut it off. But that was not to be. So Johnson City now leads 8-2. Drew Maddox has thrown 2 pitches in this inning. But the fans here finally have something to cheer about. Johnson City entering tonight was 3-8 at home this season. Dane Morrow digging in from the left side. Couple hard hit balls for him in this game. And Morrow swings at the first pitch. Hits a high fly ball to left field. This is playable for Hunter. He comes in towards the line a couple steps and makes the catch. First out here in the bottom of the 6th. Man at first now for Nate Connor, the right fielder. Connor scored a couple runs tonight. Had an RBI single back in the 3rd. Fife at first base with good speed. Connor digging in from the left side. And the pitch. Connor takes a backdoor breaker for a strike. That is the first pitch that Johnson City has taken in this inning. 3 first pitch swings in as many batters, but now Connor watches, and the count is 0-1. Here's the pitch. Connor takes outside. So we mentioned a couple wacky names this day in baseball history when Chicago first baseman Jack Doyle jumped into the stands at the Polo Grounds and hit a fan. Dummy Taylor was the winning pitcher for the New York Giants. Yes, at that time they were the New York Giants. 1-1. Connor pops it up on the infield. Jace Patton has a beat on it, and the Flyboys' third baseman makes the catch for the second out of the inning. The batter now, Paris Pridgeon. Jack Doyle, also a significant name because that is also the name of the former Indianapolis Colts tight end, who the Colts sorely miss at Lucas Oil Stadium right about now. Doyle, also a graduate of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, not the same as the Chicago first baseman who jumped into the Polo Grounds seats and hit a fan, though. Pridgeon digging in. Here's the pitch. He takes low and outside. Pridgeon was the beneficiary of TJ Adams losing the ball in the lights back in the 4th. Johnson City scored a pair on what was ruled a 2-run triple for Pridgeon. That was with 2 outs. It very easily could have ended the inning. Pridgeon fouls it back, and the count is 1-1. Fife still at first after the RBI single, scoring Logan Dunn. July 1st, on this day in 1903, Cy Young drives in the game's lone run to beat the White Sox 1-0. It's his 4th consecutive shutout in 9 days. Pridgeon takes a strike, and the count is 1-2. 4 consecutive shutouts on its own is a very impressive feat. Now, 4 consecutive shutouts in 9 days, safe to say that'll never happen again. One of many things Cy Young accomplished that will never be done again. Here's the 1-2. Pridgeon, a weak chopper up the third base line. This ball is rolling foul. Good on Jace Patton for letting it go because Pridgeon would have easily had an infield hit if that ball stayed fair. 1-2 on Pridgeon. Fife off of first as Maddox steps off. Pitch clock was down to 5 seconds there. Not very often do you see pitchers paranoid about the pitch timer, but Maddox, I think, was conscious of it there. Now he's ready. And the 1-2. Pridgeon hits a ground ball up the middle. Tyler Inge is there, and he'll take it the short way, retiring Fife at second base to end the inning. But Johnson City adds another on the RBI single off the bat of Logan Fife. And as we go to the 7th, the Doughboys leading now 8-2 here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Flyboys will need another late rally to pull this game out. Greenville trailing 8-2 as we begin the top of inning number 7. Right-handed reliever Ethan Breslin still on the mound for the Doughboys as he looks to complete another solid inning in relief. He'll face the upper third of this Flyboys order. It'll be Reed Hare followed by Tyler Inge and Ezra McNaughton. Each man has a hit, but relatively speaking, their impact has been minimal, especially considering what Reed Hare has been able to do the last few games. 8 RBIs, including a grand slam in his last 3 games entering tonight, pushing his OPS over 1,000. Left-handed batter stepping in against the righty Ethan Breslin. First pitch misses in the dirt, an off-speed offering. Third baseman Leighton Daly is anticipating the bunt from Reed Hare. Perhaps Hare maybe thinking about bunting for a hit here. Breslin the wind and the 1-0. Hare takes up and in. Fastball misses there. On this day in baseball history, 1916, Honus Wagner hits an inside-the-park home run for the Pittsburgh Pirates at age 42. Hare takes a low inside strike, and the count now 2-1. Wagner became the oldest man to hit an inside-the-park homer in a Major League game. Circled the bases at Crosley Field in Cincinnati. 2-1. Hare swings through an off-speed pitch out in front of that one, and the count now 2-2. On the Flyboys center fielder as Breslin comes back. Hare chops one to the right side. Dane Morrow is there. Throw to first gets Hare by half a step. Hare was hustling up the first baseline there. But 4 straight groundouts recorded by Ethan Breslin. He has now retired, dating back to the 5th inning. 6 straight Flyboys hitters. And only 1 ball has left the infield. That was a line out off the bat of Chase Patton back in the 5th inning. Ball trickles out of the Johnson City bullpen down the third base line. Home plate umpire Zach Bloom hustling over there to throw it back where it came from. Inge digging in, 1 for 3 with a run scored tonight. Breslin has been efficient in relief, just shutting the Flyboys down. Here's the pitch. Inge takes up and in. Off-speed pitch missing there. This is an interesting one. July 1st, 1917. Here's the 1-0. Inge takes a strike. Despite a state law banning Sunday baseball, the Robins play their first Sunday game in Brooklyn, charging regular admission and beating the Phils 3-2. Charles Ebbets announces as the 1-1 to Inge, line to left field. Dunn coming on, sliding and making the catch. A snow cone grab by Logan Dunn robs Tyler Inge of a base hit. That's the kind of night it's been for the Flyboys offensively. Now 7 straight retired by Ethan Breslin as he gets some help from Logan Dunn. The batter Ezra McNaughton, he's been productive. A single, a sacrifice fly, and a walk for him so far. Left-handed batter was the last man to face Johnson City starter Bryson Thacker. And again, Breslin has retired 7 in a row. The only base runner he allowed was to the first man he faced. It was the RBI single from Dylan Jackson. McNaughton takes a first pitch strike. So Charles Ebbets announces that the admission will benefit the Militia of Mercy, a wartime charity. And there is also a pregame band concert and military drill exhibition. The 0-1, McNaughton swings and misses at a changeup in the count 0-2. When the band concert ends, ticket sales stop, I should say. More than 12,000 people show up to this game. But despite that, Ebbets and manager Wilbert Robertson are arrested and pay a small fine for playing a baseball game on a Sunday. 0-2 to McNaughton, misses in the dirt. On this day in 1925, Giants outfielder Hack Wilson hits 2 homers in an inning, becoming the 7th player to do so when he's playing for the New York Giants in a game against the Phillies. Here's the 1-2. McNaughton fouls it off at home plate. That one hit him in the batter's box. As the Giants beat the Phillies 16-7. So the count 1-2 on McNaughton still. Bases empty, 2 away. 8-2 Johnson City here in the top of the 7th. You think 2 home runs in 1 inning, of course, your mind might go back as the 1-2 to McNaughton swung on, chopped foul past first base. When Fernando Tatis Sr. hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning off of Dodgers pitcher Chan-Ho Park. Not just 2 homers in the same inning, but 2 grand slams in the same inning off the same pitcher. I feel bad for Chan-Ho Park. Why was he left in that long? Now you talk about guys eating innings, but that seems a little overkill. Still 1-2 on McNaughton. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Tatis was playing with the Cardinals at the time. Had never hit a grand slam in his career to that point. Was just 5 for 21. But hit 2 grand slams in the same inning off the same guy. I wonder if he and Chan-Ho Park ever talked about it afterwards. 2-2 to McNaughton, misses outside. He's very patient. He's worked this count back full. Vin Scully called it preposterous, talking to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch after the game. Fernando Tatis Jr., his son, was less than 4 months old at the time. 3-2 to McNaughton, hit in the air to right center field. Pridgeon ranging toward the gap, still going back. That ball is gone. He's done it again. Ezra McNaughton with his 3rd homer in 3 games here in Johnson City. It's his league-leading 8th home run of the season. The Flyboys get one back. It's now 8-3. That's what he does. McNaughton finally gets one to his pull side. His first 2 had both been opposite field homers here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. But it's another day that ends in Y, which means Ezra McNaughton hit a home run. And that one, I'm sure, is a little special because his family is in attendance here tonight. I got a chance to talk to his dad a little bit before the game. Dylan Jackson digs in, takes high and inside. We chatted for a bit. McNaughton's family will be in Greenville tomorrow as well when the Flyboys take on Johnson City. And then they'll be in North Carolina when McNaughton joins the Appy League select team as Jackson fouls it back. McNaughton will head down to North Carolina. He'll represent the Appy League as the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team squares off against some of the best from the Appy League. And that's a cool crossover because I interned with USA Baseball a couple years ago. And I'm sure 1-1. Jackson hits one on the ground, foul past third. I'm sure my boss, Darren Vaught, will probably be on the call for that game. Darren does a lot of work down in North Carolina with USA Baseball and also with the ACC Network and ESPN. He's been a great mentor for me over the last few years, so that'll be a fun crossover. Maybe McNaughton will hit one out then as well, but the Collegiate National Team, a very formidable group of players in its own right. Jackson choking up with 2 strikes. Here it comes. A line drive, or I should say a hard ground ball to Leighton Daly at third. Jackson robbed of a base hit. Nice defensive play there by Daly, and that ends the inning. Greenville gets one back on the solo homer from McNaughton, his 8th of the season. But still a lot of work to do at stretch time as the Flyboys trail 8-3 on Greenville Flyboys Baseball Network. After stretch time here in Johnson City, the Flyboys still with a lot of work to do, and they're running out of time to do it. 8-3, the Doughboys over Greenville, as Johnson City looks to get its first win over the Flyboys in 3 games this season and improve to, and don't hold your breath, 4-8 at home to get within 4.5 games of these Flyboys. Evan Kay on out of the bullpen for the Flyboys. Kay, working in his 8th game this season, he's allowed just 1 run in 10 2/3 innings. He'll face Brandon Chang, Trey Majette, and Leighton Daly. Will Evan Kay. And Ezra McNaughton hitting his league-leading 8th homer of the season in the 7th inning, prompting some people, I'm sure, to think of when Chris Paul once hit a huge 3 to cut the lead to 42 in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals a few years ago as Dallas blew out Phoenix. That was in Phoenix as well. Kind of an obscure sports meme culture reference as Chang takes a strike from Evan Kay. But McNaughton will take it, showing off the power once again. He's done it to all fields. Want to know the count on Chang. Brock Thompson making his Flyboys debut at third base for Greenville. He'll take over for Jace Patton as Chang takes low and outside. Thompson joining the Flyboys by way of Oklahoma State. He's a native of Bakersfield, California. He is one of the last Flyboys players to join. 1-1 fouled back, and the count 1-2. Hunter Sloop is also joining the Flyboys. I only know that because earlier today I saw he hopped in the team's group me. So the highest quality journalism here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. But Sloop's name rings a bell, and I'll have to figure out why in a second. Chang takes low and outside. I feel like he was either with the Flyboys last year or he was on another Appy League team. He was with the Flyboys last year. So when I began prepping for the Flyboys, I was looking at the roster. This was in early May. 2-2 to Chang, misses outside. Base is empty, nobody away, bottom of the 7th. Flyboys trailing by 5. Evan Kay looking to keep it there. I accidentally prepped the entirety of last year's team. And about halfway through, I realized, wait a minute. All these players are returning. That can't be right. Chang hits a sharp line drive into left center field. And he's aboard for the second time today. He's thinking about his second double. Reed Hare kicks the ball around on the warning track, and that ensures that Chang is on second base for the second time tonight. Leadoff double to start the 7th. Now the batter, Trey Majette, switch hitter batting left. Sloop transferred to UNC Charlotte after beginning his career at Tennessee. But Sloop's standing out in my mind because he's 6'7". He appeared in 7 games for the Flyboys last season. Here's Trey Majette. Switch hitter digging in from the left side. And he hits the first pitch off the handle. Coming in is Reed Hare, the center fielder. A long run. He's got to play it on a bounce. He kicks it off his glove, but both runners hold up. Chang moves to third as Majette picks up a bloop single to center. His 3rd hit in 4 trips tonight. And when you're hot, you're hot. That's what Johnson City has been here tonight. Proving that, yes, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Leighton Daly digging in. Perhaps the best example of that. Again, he was 0 for 17 entering this game. Had an RBI single, scored a pair back in the 3rd. Men on the corners, nobody out. Evan Kay in a tough spot, really, for the first time this season. Daly waits. The pitch, a strike. Majette started off of first base, took a couple steps, and then stopped. Got to say, I did not expect this many fans to be dressed as bleachers here this late in the game. Johnson City winning at home, a rare sight so far this year. Here's the 0-1. Daly takes low and outside. And all told, I was talking about the inclement weather, but it's actually shaping up to be a pleasant evening. This is a game I would have paid to attend, unless I was a Flyboys fan, knowing the outcome. Throw over to first, Majette in safely. But the Flyboys still have been playing very good baseball. Assuming this result holds, they will drop to just 7-3 in their last 10 games, but that's okay. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and most of the time, if you're the Flyboys, it rains. 1-1 to Daly, misses way outside. Good job by Francisco of getting to his backhand there. Brock Thompson is due to lead off next inning. So he'll get his first plate appearance this season for Greenville. Oklahoma State, I'm sure, holding a pretty good spot in the minds of a lot of baseball fans around here. Daly hits a chopper to second, might be 2. Inge to Miller for 1, on to first, double play. The run scores. Chang will cross. No RBI for Leighton Daly. As he's retired on the double play, but Johnson City now leads 9-3 here in the bottom of the 7th. So the Doughboys get the run back that Ezra McNaughton delivered with his 8th homer of the season. Now digging in, Ryan Jones, the designated hitter. Kay out of the windup with the bases empty once again. Here's the pitch. Jones takes a strike. Johnson City tagging the Flyboys bullpen 0-1. Jones takes low and away. For all 9 of these runs, Freddie Baravitas, 2 scoreless innings. A shorter start for him. The pitch count was a bit of a concern. He threw 43 to get through 2 innings. 1-1. A chopper up the middle, and that is through into center field. It's another base hit for Johnson City. Their 13th of the night. First hit of the game for Jones, and with that, all 9 Doughboys hitters have hit safely. Logan Dunn now digging in. Left-handed batting left fielder. He had a double, scored a run in the last inning. Johnson City jumping all over Greenville. They scored 5 in the 3rd inning. That's really the crooked number. Dunn lines one to right field. That's going to be trouble. Jones will go first to third. This ball is cut off just shy of the wall by Adams. Heading to second. The throw there. He's out. Great job by the Flyboys of getting that ball back in. Dunn thought about stretching it into a double, but a good relay started by TJ Adams in right field erases him. Scored that a single. 9-4-6 on the putout, and no further damage. The Flyboys still with a lot of work to do, though, as we go to inning number 8. Greenville trailing 9-3 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. New pitcher out of the bullpen for Johnson City as we begin the 8th inning. Doughboys in control, as they have been since the 3rd. It's 9-3 Johnson City. They've doubled up the Flyboys in the hit column as well. 14 hits for the Doughboys. Howell will face Brock Thompson digging in for the first time tonight. He replaced Jace Patton at third base. The video board people did not get the memo, but that's okay. Thompson takes low, left-handed batter out of Oklahoma State, making his Flyboys debut here tonight. Thompson's got orange and black spikes representing Oklahoma State. 1-0. He takes a low inside strike. I don't think the Johnson City fans know that that's not Jace Patton at the plate. 1-1 on Thompson. The pitch misses low and outside. I mean, the chirps only work if you get the name right. That's the way I see it. Thompson was part of the PDP League in USA Baseball's National Training Complex as he takes inside the count 2-1, which explains where I know his name from. Because they played, it was 4 different teams of prospects. The top among them, I would say, just off the top of my head, being Derek Curiel, the infielder who became an everyday player in his freshman season at LSU. Thompson hits a ground ball through the right side. And he is 1 for 1 in his Flyboys career. He's got a leadoff single to start the 8th. And now the batter, Brady Francisco. I'm willing to bet if I go back through my scorebook, I can find Brock Thompson in here somewhere. I'm going to try to do it. We did some games in the PDP League when those guys were down there. You could tell Derek Curiel was going to be a star. Absolutely. He was unbelievable. But I'm sure if I try, I could find Brock Thompson in there. He's on first. Francisco nearly gets hit. The off-speed pitch there from Griffin Howell. The count 1-0. Brock Thompson's dad, Alan Thompson, played at Oklahoma City University. Here's the 1-0. Francisco, Thompson's future teammate at Oklahoma State, takes low and outside. 2-0, and that brings out Brandon Chang for a quick conference. Alan Thompson was an All-American and the NAIA Player of the Year at Oklahoma City University in 1994. Thompson would like to win a lifetime supply of cinnamon rolls, which is something I think we can all agree with. Just don't eat too many at once. Now, the only other person I know who went to Oklahoma City University was my mom. Now, she went there a few years before Brock Thompson's dad, so I doubt the two of them crossed paths. But that's a school that you rarely, if ever, hear about. 1-0. Francisco chops it foul past third base. My mom did not play NAIA baseball in college either, which may come as a shock to some. But that is a cool crossover. Brady bunch of nothing. That's a decent chirp. That might even get a chuckle out of me on a different day. Unfortunately, with the Flyboys losing by 6, I will choose not to laugh. So 2-1 on Francisco. As Howell delivers. Francisco gets hit on the elbow guard. So he'll take 90 feet the hard way. Thompson moves up to second. And now the batter, TJ Adams. A great relief outing by Ethan Breslin. 2 2/3, 1 run on 2 hits. Every ball was put in play. No strikeouts for him. No walks either. Thompson, the man on second. Adams at first. Francisco at first. Adams is 0 for 3. He hits the first pitch foul down the right field side near the Flyboys bullpen. TJ Adams, 4 for 16 entering tonight. Looking for his 5th hit of the season to bring the Flyboys a little bit closer. Here's the pitch. Adams takes a breaking ball inside. But Thompson saw plenty of action at Oklahoma State in his freshman season. Played in 49 games, hit 8 homers, stole 12 bases as well. He's inching off second, not running. The pitch to Adams, swung on and missed. Well off the plate away, but Howell got the chase, and the count is now 1-2 on TJ Adams. If you're the Flyboys, first and second, nobody out, trailing by 6, down to your final 6 outs. You need something here. Adams swings and misses in the dirt. He's gone. That's not going to do it. Howell getting the chase there once again. Now the batter, Grant Hunter. Adams will likely end this one 0 for 4. Although if he comes back to the plate for a 5th time, then that means we're talking about a Flyboys comeback. Hunter digging in now. 0 for 2 with a walk. And he gets hit on the elbow guard. Probably good that both he and Brady Francisco have protective equipment. Otherwise, those would hurt a lot more. Bases loaded now for Peyton Miller. The Flyboys had manufactured nothing apart from the solo homer from Ezra McNaughton since the 5th inning. Now they've got the bases loaded with 1 away after Hunter gets hit by a pitch. Howell in a tricky spot here. Flyboys trailing by 6. Johnson City up 9-3 here in the top of the 8th. Bases loaded, 1 away. The good thing here, if you're Griffin Howell, is you're facing Peyton Miller, the man in the number 9 spot. He's grounded out twice, so he is a double play candidate here. The pitch. Howell delivers low and away. Tried the slider there. That was the same pitch he got TJ Adams to chase a couple times, including strike 3. Looking for Miller to just drive one through the infield here. The 1-0. Misses low. So Howell losing his command a little bit. 2-0 count on the Flyboys' number 9 hitter. Howell set, the 2-0. Miller, a sharp ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Thompson trots home, Francisco sprinting right behind him, and the Flyboys inch a little closer. It's 9-5 here in the top of the 8th as Peyton Miller picks up a 2-run single. Brady Francisco hustling home from second there. RBIs number 8 and 9 for Peyton Miller. And again, you just sort of start to think about it now. Reed Hare digging in. Men at first and second, still only 1 away. If he can reach, the tying run would come to the plate for the Flyboys. Hunter at second, Miller at first. Hare digging in, 1 for 4 tonight. As another ball comes out of the Johnson City bullpen. Brandon Chang throws it back to the bullpen catcher on the fly. That was impressive. Now, if you're the Flyboys, I think you think about a double steal here. His arm might be a little gassed. Here's Hare, the pitch. Hare chops one to the right side. That ball is just foul. Trey Majette probably would have only had a play to first base there. It was a slow ground ball. Instead, the count 0-1 on Hare. He's the right guy for this spot. Mentioned his success with the bases loaded. The last time he hit with the bases loaded in this park, he hit a 3-run triple. Just meant on first and second for him here, though. Here's the 0-1. Hare takes low and in. Howell tried that wipeout slider, landing at the back foot of the left-handed hitter, but Hare didn't bite. A lot of room between the infielders. The corner infielders hugging the lines. 1-1 swung on and missed. Hare whiffing on an outside fastball there. That one with some good run to the arm side of the righty, Griffin Howell. Howell's up to 20 pitches in this inning, just 9 strikes. Only 1 man retired. Couple looks at second, and the pitch. Way outside from Howell. And the count now 2-2. With a lefty in the box, it's hard to imagine, especially with the Flyboys still needing 4 to tie, that the Flyboys will be very aggressive here. 2 strikes, so the bunt is almost certainly off the board. Here's the pitch. Hare swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Another chase on that changeup from Griffin Howell. Really killing the spin on that one, just making it drop off the table. That's a great pitch by Griffin Howell. Now it's all up to Tyler Inge. First and second, 2 away here in the top of the 8th. Flyboys got a couple back on the 2-run single by Peyton Miller. He's at first, Grant Hunter's at second. Inge takes outside. Howell missing with the slider there. Inge 1 for 4 tonight. Single and a run scored for him. And you're thinking if he can reach, just give Ezra McNaughton a chance. That's what you're looking for right now. Here's the 1-0. Inge takes a strike. Inge is a very patient hitter. That was a good pitch right on the outside part of the plate. You'll see him work a lot of deep counts. Inge also takes a lot of hittable pitches. But that's his approach, and it's served him well so far this season. 1-1. Howell fires. Inge chops one to the left side. The third baseman, Daly, misses it. That ball gets through into left field. Coming home is Grant Hunter. There's no play. That was kind of a tweener in between third base and short. Leighton Daly, the third baseman, couldn't cut it off. It ricocheted off his glove. The shortstop, Logan Fife, coming over to back it up. With the ball deflecting off the glove of Daly, Fife couldn't change direction in time, so that ball got through into left field. And now, for the Flyboys, as Hunter scores, it's 9-6. Inge reaching on what will probably be scored in E5, I would assume. And that'll be all for Griffin Howell. So Johnson City will go back to its bullpen. So Folk, the lefty, on out of Austin P, not too far from here. He was born just 15 days before I was. Interesting. So a couple more experienced guys facing each other here. McNaughton, also an elder statesman as far as the Appy League is concerned. He was born in mid-03 as well. Much like Folk. Folk is on for the 7th time this season. He's been good. 10 innings, just 3 earned runs allowed. It's an ERA of 2.7. 3 walks, 18 strikeouts for him. So he's one of the Johnson City shutdown relievers. Going to him in the biggest spot of the night for Johnson City's pitching staff. Folk began his collegiate career at Galveston College, did not pitch in any games there. At Austin P this past season, 11 appearances, an ERA of 9, allowing 12 earned in 12 innings. He's brought down the walk numbers, a walk rate over 9 walks per 9 innings at Austin P, but just 3 walks in 10 innings so far this season for Cade Folk. So Ezra McNaughton stepping to the plate. The Flyboys have first and second, 2 away in the top of the 8th. They've scored 3 times in this inning, most recently on the fielding error charged to Leighton Daly. McNaughton has more homers than anyone in the Appy League this season. He's got 8, including 1 that he hit last inning. Lefty-lefty matchup here. McNaughton with a closed stance, a slight toe tap in the lefty box. Here's the pitch from Folk. McNaughton takes a fastball for a strike. That one on the high inside corner at 88 miles per hour. McNaughton, like Tyler Inge, a very patient hitter. He'll take his walks. He'll work deep counts. He's okay taking that first pitch. Here's the 0-1. McNaughton swings and misses at the slider. That's a good breaker there from Folk, strike 2. McNaughton steps out, readjusts his batting gloves. He's the right guy for the job. Takes a deep breath. Choking up a little bit on that all-black bat. Runners lead off first and second. And the 0-2. McNaughton hits one on the ground, foul past first. Shortening his approach, and that's what Jack Wilson commends him for. McNaughton will use all fields. He's not just a pull-happy hitter. He's somebody who will take what the pitching staff gives him on the other side. And you've seen a lot of teams try to attack him with soft stuff on the outer part of the plate. Folk got him to swing through that slider to get to 0-2. He went back to it, but left it up on that foul ball. Here's another 0-2 as Folk deals. McNaughton takes outside. Fastball missing off the plate there. There are some Flyboys fans in attendance here, as are McNaughton's family among them. Inge at first, Miller at second. McNaughton represents the tying run. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the fastball. Flyboys get 3 back, leave 2 more on the board. Great job by Cade Folk coming out of the bullpen and retiring Ezra McNaughton. Greenville trailing by 3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th on the Flyboys Baseball Network. New pitcher on for the Flyboys as we begin the bottom of inning number 8. Johnson City leading 9-6. A.J. Diaz, the two-way player, will look to keep Johnson City ahead by just 3. Diaz will face the top of the Doughboys order. Logan Fife, followed by Dane Morrow and Nate Connor, all hitting for the 5th time in 8 innings tonight. The Doughboys took the lead with a 5 spot in the 3rd inning. They've controlled ever since, and it's unfortunate for the Flyboys, just not able to break through all the way. Had the tying run at the plate in the 8th inning. First pitch to Fife, a chopper to the left side. Peyton Miller charges. Throw to first in time. 1 pitch, and Fife is gone. Diaz, also an infielder, on the mound for the 6th time this season. 4 runs allowed and 6 1/3. 10 walks, 12 strikeouts. Dane Morrow, the left-handed batter, digging in. Diaz, a right-hander out of Yavapai Junior College. Always goes from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Morrow takes a strike. Fastball at the knees at 90 from A.J. Diaz. Flyboys and Doughboys, 2 more this week. Morrow takes low and outside. Diaz tried another fastball there. Tomorrow and Thursday at 7 o'clock. Morrow lines one towards center field. Hare coming on, can't get there. It's down in front of him. Peyton Miller was hustling over on that sinking line drive. Neither of them could get to it. 1 out single for Dane Morrow, his 2nd hit of the night. Nate Connor the next to hit. Couple runs scored, had an RBI single in the 3rd. Connor stepping in from the left side. Morrow off first. Stolen 7 bags this year. He's got good speed. Diaz is ready, and the pitch. Connor takes outside. Fastball missing there. Johnson City leading 9-6 here in the bottom of the 8th. The Doughboys, a carousel on the base paths for them today, as Connor takes up and away. 9 runs on 15 hits for Johnson City. Greenville has 6 runs on 9 hits. Flyboys have only walked 4. Johnson City has walked 8. or sorry, they've walked 3 as Connor fouls it off in the count 2-1. Johnson City's walked 3, but the Flyboys just, it looks like anyway. Now, we could definitely see something in the 9th, but it looks like the rally attempt will fall short. 2-1 on Connor. Runner starts and stops. The pitch is fouled back. Most of the fans have left. This game starting 30 minutes after its scheduled time, starting at 7:30. Elsewhere around the Appy League, Kingsport run-ruling Burlington 15-5 in 7 innings. The Axemen now 12-10. Burlington 13-10. Their advantage in the Appy League East will shrink. Here's the 2-2. Connor pops it foul, out of play. Bluefield and Tri-State rained out. Danville and Pulaski rained out as well. So, with Bluefield not playing, they are just half a game back of Burlington at the top of the East, as is Pulaski. Elizabethton beat Bristol 6-0. That game just going final at Northeast Community Credit Union Ballpark. 2-2. Connor hits a sharp ground ball to first. Fielded on a hop by Jackson. Throw to second. The tag. He's out. Jackson tapped the base with his mitt. It's a 3-6 double play, and the inning is over. It's not a double play you see very often. Jackson went to his knee to field that one, tapped first base with his mitt, and then made an accurate throw to second where Peyton Miller tagged out Morrow, I should say, to end the inning. So a hit, nobody left, as A.J. Diaz works a scoreless 8th. Flyboys need 3 runs to keep this game going. They trail 9-6 as we go to the 9th inning on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Last chance for the Flyboys here in Johnson City. Greenville trailing the Doughboys 9-6. It'll be Dylan Jackson, Brock Thompson, and Brady Francisco facing Cade Folk, the lefty who struck out Ezra McNaughton in the 8th inning. McNaughton represented the tying run, but Folk got him with a high fastball. Flyboys need 3 more. They scored 3 in the 8th. Left 3 more on the table. A disappointing update in the world of halftime performers. The Red Panda was performing in the WNBA End-Season Tournament Championship between the Fever and the Minnesota Lynx earlier. Red Panda, the unicycle performer, who is incredible to watch. She's come to a number of Indiana basketball games. She was at a Pacers game earlier this year as well. She left, falling off her unicycle, clutching her wrist. So hoping all the best for Red Panda, because her performances are electrifying. 0-2 on Dylan Jackson as he watches a pair of fastballs. Jackson, 2 for 4 with an RBI single tonight. Both of those fastballs right there from the lefty, Cade Folk. He's a big strikeout guy, and he's brought down the walk numbers that hampered him this past season at Austin Peay. 0-2. Jackson takes a breaking ball low and outside. Flyboys with their backs against the wall, looking to avoid just their 7th loss of the season. It still would be the fewest losses by any team in the Appy League. Here's the 1-2. Jackson foul tips it at home plate. That's strike 3. Both punch outs on the heater from the lefty, Cade Folk. He's up to 91 miles per hour from the left side. Now Brock Thompson, left-handed batter, will face him for the second time, or excuse me, step in for the second time. He singled off Griffin Howell to start the 8th. Howell allowed 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. Folk always from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Thompson. A strike. Sinking fastball on the low inside corner there. Folk is ready. And the 0-1. Thompson takes high and outside. I think Thompson changed his spikes. His first plate appearance, they were, I'm not going to say high top spikes, but they had more ankle support, and I remember some black and orange. Now they're lower cut white and orange spikes. And he gets hit by a fastball there. 90 miles an hour right between the numbers. That doesn't feel too good. Flyboys have a 1-out base runner. The batter, Brady Francisco, he was hit his last time up. And if Francisco can reach, dare I say, the Flyboys will have the tying run at the plate once again. One away here in the top of the ninth, Greenville trailing 9-6. Last chance for them. The Cubs, winners in Chicago tonight, back to 15 games over 500 as they beat Cleveland 5-2. Matthew Boyd, 7 strong innings. Left on right, Francisco takes high from the lefty Cade Folk. Thompson has decent speed, but can't imagine he'll be very aggressive. 1, with a lefty on the mound, and 2, because his run doesn't matter much yet if you're the Flyboys. Here's the 1-0. Francisco chases a high fastball. The count 1-1. That fastball with a good run from Cade Folk, the southpaw. A very lively fastball, spin rate near 2,400 RPMs. 1-1, Francisco takes outside. And what that means, the higher the spin rate on a fastball, the more it resists the forces of gravity. So it's not as if it's rising to the hitter, though. It looks like it's rising because it's not dropping like other fastballs do. Here's the 2-1. Fastball misses up and away. That's ball 3. And the advantage a pitcher has with a higher spin rate is that if he can throw that fastball at the top of the zone, usually hitters can't get the barrel to it in time because it stays higher than they're expecting it to. That's why a few years back, so many major league pitchers were using sticky stuff. 3-1. Francisco swings and misses. That's strike 2. That heater at the top of the zone again. Pitchers were using things like spider tack, which is a grip assisting substance that power lifters use to lift cinder blocks. Also, of course, sunscreen and rosin, pine tar, things of that nature. All to increase spin rate. 3-2 to Francisco, strike 3 right at the top of the zone. That fastball at 2,500 RPMs. And it's all on the shoulders now of TJ Adams. 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Adams needs to reach to keep this game going. Flyboys trailing 9-6 here, 2 away, top of the ninth. And I remember when MLB started checking pitchers for foreign substances in 2021. It was one of the stranger things I've ever seen. Max Scherzer thought so too. Adams foul tips it at home plate. That's strike 1. You had pitchers removing their belts, taking off their hats, getting mad at umpires. Now it's a more normal thing. It's been about 4 years since MLB started checking pitchers for foreign substances. Thompson not being held on at first. He runs. The 0-1, hit in the air to left center field. This ball will stay in the park. Pridgeon coming over, makes the catch, and that's the game. Flyboys fall in this one, 9-6 your final. As Johnson City improves to 10-12 on the season. They are now 4-8 at home. Greenville dropping to 14-7.